Hello everyone, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are.
Yes,
Okay, thank you. So welcome to the session. This session already it has been, though it has been named as activity practice session because this is the same links we use for all the sessions, right? But the agenda of the session is the revision for quiz 2. Okay, so we'll be trying to revise certain concepts of quiz 2 today so that you have some help of the PDF of the exam tomorrow. So the PDF of quiz 2 I've shared already, right? It is in the supplementary content. Have you checked that?
which PDF, sir?
There is a question on chat about the the MAD PDF from Ritik. Okay, so in the last session I mentioned about a PDF where okay, so I'll go through that PDF today also. There are a set of slides which we were supposed to go through in the session only, but I shared it a couple of days before so that you get an idea of what to study. Okay, just give me a minute. I'll share the screen and I'll show
So
you what I'm talking.
what is the name of the PDF?
It's end-term revision.
Yeah, it is there.
I thought it would be quiz two. Then that's why I thought like it had not been shared yet.
Okay, fine. No, so actually, when I shared it in the discourse, I mentioned it is shared by the name end-term revision. Anyways, so it is there. Just give me a minute. I'll show you. So the name is end-term revision for the reason that it's not only up to week 8, all 12 weeks, important topics are there. Therefore, it's end-term revision. Because this is what we generally share for for end-term revision only, and small PDF is there for quiz. But I thought, okay, let's have the complete PDF shared because anyway we are already in ending week 10 here, week 9 here. Okay, just let me share the screen.
Sir, we need to like remember the status codes also.
Status codes as in.
Like we have different status codes, no? Like 404 and the page not found.
Yeah, see, generally you don't need to, but there are only handful. So if you keep those in mind, it would be better.
Yeah. Okay.
Could you
Okay, so we
list
don't
them in
expect you
today's session, sir?
to. Sorry.
Could you list them also in today's session so that it will be in our minds? The error codes.
Yeah, so I mean, see, there is nothing like error code. Error code is defined only for API. We're talking about status codes.
Sorry,
Okay, so the
status
general
codes.
status codes that we will, see throughout your lab assignments and everything, we'll just have a look at that. Okay, there are only handful. If you just have
Okay,
an
sir.
idea of that, it would be better. Okay,
Mm.
and there are
No,
very specific ones.
sorry.
Can you see
Okay.
my screen now?
Yes, sir.
So, sorry to interrupt. So, just during the course, whenever you find time, could it be possible to cover the decorators, the function within the function concept in week 5? If you could just
Hmm.
take a problem and discuss that, so it will be helpful for us. Thank you.
Yeah, I would, but the thing is, I mean, the same question you asked today, it was asked, 3 to 4 sessions back. I'm not sure which one. It was, uh, I don't remember the student also.
I,
But the thing is, I explained about decorators in quite detail there. So maybe if I take today, might not go into that details, but in that session, you can, have a look at that.
so this session was week 5, sir, because I looked at the channel.
No,
It's
no, I
not
don't
very
think so.
clear.
Week 5, because week 5, most of the sessions I took for the practical,
Sir,
thing.
I'll search and post the link because I had asked that question and you took about 1 hour to explain it. So it was very detailed and very clear. So I'll just post
Right,
the
no?
link. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
Yeah,
please.
yeah,
please,
yeah.
Vivek.
That
That
would
would
be
be
helpful,
helpful.
Vivek.
Thanks, Vivek. Thank you. Please
Yeah.
post it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So this
Okay,
is
sir.
the PDF that I've. Okay. Anybody asking anything?
Yes, sir. So actually, the week 8 session was more of a general discussion type of session. So, what would be the things which we need to keep in mind for week 8?
So are you talking about the Wednesday session?
Yes, sir, the week 8 activity practice session.
No, but weekend activity practice was not okay. See, The week 8 activity practice session was general session. I agree that. But the thing is, the open session of week 8 I've taken in the activity practice session of week 9. So what did what we did was Saturday, that is open session of week 8, we could not have the session, right? So what we did was we postponed it to Wednesday, that is week 9 activity practice. Right. So yeah, there were some queries regarding week 9, but later on I started off with what exactly the coding part of week 8, introduction to JavaScript. All right. So if you go through that session, you will be able to solve most of the questions.
Okay, sir.
This was taken in on
This was
August.
taken on. It was okay. Wait, it was this Wednesday only, 2nd of August.
2nd August. Okay.
Okay, so I mean, this is, it will be a long name. It is open session week 8 and activity practice session week 9, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, since we had postponed that session, could not take it on, last Saturday. Therefore, we had that session this Wednesday. Okay, so there, after discussing some queries regarding week 9, some preliminary queries of week 9, we talked about what you need to know about JavaScript. Yes, I think. All right, so you can find that video also. Okay, so let me go through the agenda of today's session very quickly. So we will be very quickly revising this, going through this particular piece of slide. So we will be going from week 1 to week 8, although there are all the 12 weeks there, but we won't go into week 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we'll go from week 1 to week 8. All right, this slide will give you some idea of what are the contents and what things you should know as far as the questions of quizzes are concerned. All right, and here along with that I've embedded the links. For example, if you know what the protocols are, you should just click on the link and you will get the idea. You will be redirected to the page where the explanation of this is given. Okay, so this is done for all the weeks.
Can you share this slide, sir?
This is shared already. You can find it in so you can find it in solve with instructor source code with the name end term revision. Okay, so there you can find this slide. So this is one thing. Apart from this, we will be going through your doubts in mock 2. Okay, so it was released yesterday. So if you have gone through the questions of mock 2 and you have
Yes,
found
sir.
any difficulty, we'll go through some of the questions on that. That is one thing. That is second thing. Okay. And apart from that, your general questions. If you have any question from complete week 1 to week 8, and then we have some set of questions that we thought would be helpful to discuss. Okay, so around 5 to 6 questions we have segregated out from previous weeks, just as we did in a revision session of quiz 1, right? So similar to that. Okay, so this is how the session is going to be. We will be stopping in between and taking your doubts also if you have any particular question to discuss. Okay, will that be okay?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So
Okay.
one question before you start. Can we expect any questions on JavaScript DOM updating or manipulation?
Yeah, so since it has been taught,
It's
you
been
can
discussed.
expect questions.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, so whatever I discussed in the last Wednesday session, nothing will come out of it.
Okay. Sir.
So will you be talking about DOM now, sir? Sorry, I didn't catch you. Today?
Yeah, I mean, some basic idea if you want to know, I can give. We'll come to week 8 and then I'll maybe I'll show you.
Okay, thank you.
All right, so I'll start off with week 1. All right, and as you know, the syllabus is week 1 to week 8. Major emphasis is given on weeks 5 to 8, but you can expect questions from week 1 to 4 also. All right, because this is again, even if you do a question from week 5 to 8, it will involve things from basics of web and Jinja and everything, right? So you can expect questions. Now, starting off with week 1, you may have, I mean, theoretical wise, what you have studied. So this is there, right, in the form of content. So what you studied in week 1, and these are the things that you need to know as far as questions are concerned. Okay, so so in general, we talked about what apps are and the platforms of app, right? And then also the components of app. So what are the components? Like the three components: the presentation layer, the computational layer, and the database layer, right? And from there, we inferred that there can be a design pattern which will help us to carry out the separation of concern, right? So that is what is this MVC design pattern. All right. Apart from this, there was something called as web architecture, which has two types. One is the client server and distributed, right? So the focus of our course is client server architecture. All right, you don't need to know distributed structure or distributed architecture in very detail, but it would be good to know some examples, right? One of the very specific example for that is BitTorrent. Okay, so it's just that there can be multiple machines acting in the network that can serve I mean that can request for files and serve for files. That is, they can act as client as well as server. Okay, so a network having this kind of machines are distributed network. All right, whereas in the client server architecture that we have been studying till now, what is the case? There is a centralized server. There can be multiple machines together acting as a server, but they will be centralized, right? None of them will act as a client, and the converse is also true, right? None of the client will act as a server. The client will only request for files, resources, and the server will be serving it, right? There will be no mixture. So that is what is client server web architecture is, and that is what we have studied in throughout the content. All right, now so this is, I mean, you can go through the theory and discuss about all these things, read about all these things in the theory, but now what do you need to know as far as questions are concerned, right? So starting off, so if I click on this link, you should be redirected to one of the videos from our course itself that gives you an idea of what protocols are, right? So this is one of the course video from our professor itself, but this is not the only resource. There are other resources, for example, HTTP and HTTP work. This might take you to an MDN doc, which will give you the idea of what HTTP request methods are. All right, now as so you can see that there is get, head, post, put, delete, connect, all these things, right? What are most popular that we have seen? Get, post, put, delete. All right, so these are the ones that we have seen to actually carry out the CRUD operations, right? As soon as you click on one of these, you will get the nature of this request, what exactly it does, and these things, right? Request has body or not, it has a successful response, the response has body or not, and then there are three properties that we talk about, whether request body being safe or not, idempotent or not, or cacheable or not. These things you need to know about each method. Okay, so this is about get. You can find out for other methods also, right? So if similarly, if you click on post, it will give you some idea on that, and then the same table. Okay, just go through this. If there is any doubt, you can post it on Discord, and we'll try to be available before the quiz so that we can clear things out. All right, so these are the this is the way we have incorporated resources where you can go and see. All right, so in the performance parameters, I think it will take you to one of the open sessions that I had taken. All right, so this open session will deal with all the numerical that you might ever need to solve any paper of manual. Okay, so that is regarding week one, right? So there are performance parameters, network bandwidth, all those things are there. So there are questions taken on this. You can go through and have a understanding of it. Okay, so this is how what we have done is
one question, sir. This safe, what you have said, what does it imply in context with the server attack safety or what?
no, it talks about talks about interaction with the database. Okay, I'll come to that. I'll give you a difference between what exactly safe is and I mean how contradiction will arise. Okay, so that is about it, right? So week one, this is all. These are the things that we have studied. You go through these. These are basically the resources that you should at least go through once to be able to solve the questions. Okay. Similarly, if you go to week two, this is more about information representation, efficiency, and then HTML and CSS, right? So we studied a lot of HTML. There is a lot to study. It's not that we have covered everything, but we have given you a basis on which you can build up, right? So similarly with the CSS, so we have done basic HTML, we have done basic CSS, but at the end of the day, it is who practice and get more idea. We don't expect you to know a lot of things to be able to solve these questions, but just the basic things, right? At least what is covered in the sessions. Okay, now what are the things that you need to know in this? Basically, basics of number system, right? Why we are asking about basics of number system? Because this helps you in conversion between these binary, octal, decimal, hexadecimal, right? So how do you, so this resource basically will take you to probably a session that again I have taken after this Grammarly ad. So this session, we have talked about what number systems is and everything. Okay. Apart from that, if you go to Solve with Instructor source code, you will get a number system PDF. This now PDF is sufficient enough to give you everything that is there to convert from one place to the other, from one number system to other. Okay, this has everything. This is again created by me so that keeping in mind all the questions that you ever had in related to number system efficiency and everything. Okay, this is again there in the what we call Solve with Instructor source code. Okay, so after going through this session on number systems, you can go through this particular PDF to actually revise everything what was taught. Okay, that is one thing. Unicode to UTF will take you to a video that where I have given explanation about the 12th question of practice assignment week 2. Okay, UTF to sorry Unicode to UTF conversion, right? So you had a table, zeros and ones and crosses. Okay, so this particular endpoint, this particular hyperlink takes you there. Okay, so it will be around 15-20 minutes explanation about that question. All right. Then there are these HTML tags, CSS inline external developer tools. All will again take you to another session taken by us where we explicitly deal these things. Okay. So basic explanation of this is given. Why we are embedding this link so that you don't need to search through the internet to actually find out what exactly we are expecting. Okay. That is about week 2. I'll stop after week 4 to take your doubts. Okay. Now, moving on to week 3, this is about the first part of MVC design pattern, that is the view part. All right. So what does it take care of? It takes care about the interface, user interface versus user interaction. What are the differences and when do you call something an interface or interaction, right? What are the different types of view, whether a view is partially dynamic, fully dynamic, static, partially static, things like that. All right. And then user interface design, where we gave you, heuristics of Jacob Nielsen and other things to actually have a good design understanding. All right. Now, how you design web page and everything. It is recommended to go through these documentations. I mean, the heuristics, right? So there are links that are embedded in the video lectures, right? So the video lectures will have links, one directing to Jacob Nielsen heuristics, okay, and the other to W3C consortium, right? So it will also give you on what are other things that are taken care of while designing a web page. Okay, have a look at it because those questions can be expected. Questions from there. So it is a theoretical part. However, it is 15-20 minutes of your time, reading time, and you should be able to solve most of the questions. Okay. Now, what are the things that you need to know basically? So week 3 is all about Jinja, right? So this particular thing, template creation using PyHTML, template creation using Python string module. So these are a development of how did we finally moved on to Jinja, right? So PyHTML is creating error-free HTML files with the help of Python, right? Jinja's Python string module is very similar to templating in Python, which with some replacement of values in place of placeholders. They're similar to what we do with string formatting, right? Now, if you want to add some programmatic component to it, if you want to add some manipulation like for loop, if statement, and other things, this is where Jinja comes in. Okay, I hope you understood why Jinja is important as far as web development is concerned, because we will be creating a lot of dynamic pages and we cannot have all the content written there itself, right? So we need to make templates which can be filled with right amount of data and with right placeholders and right positioning. So that is why we need Jinja too. So all these things will redirect you to some important videos, but focus on this template designer documentation. Okay, so this template designer documentation, I'll let you know till where you have to read it. Okay, so we'll start off with synopsis. Okay, template file extension, variables. Okay, sorry, variables. Then you will read on filters. Don't expect all the filters. You should know all the filters with completely thoroughly. It's not expected, but you should understand how filters work, right? So if you see here, there is a list of built-in filters which you can expect. Okay, most of them you will be able to understand by their name itself, right? So for example, if I talk about sorting, I know what sorting does. Okay, min, max, map, all these things are there. They are basically predefined functions in Jinja. Okay, so the go through these list of filters, then you don't need to worry about this tests. Comments you can have a look at. White space control is important. Now there was one question in quiz where there was something like this. Can you see the VS code?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So
Yes,
there was
yes,
something
yes.
like this. So let's say for item in items, and you had this minus sign here, right? So this minus sign is what is called as white space control. Now before this, what will happen? I'll show you. For example, if I write for items in item, this is app.py, right? I'm writing a Jinja code in app.py, but I'm not solving anything. So I hope that is not an issue. Okay, so I'm writing, let's say, item. So what I'm doing here, I want to print the item in a list of items, and then I'll do the end for. Okay, so this is what I want to do. Now what happens is, so if you see, there is a break here, right? There is a break here and there is a break here. So how many breaks I have to expect? Two breaks after every, no, break meaning line breaks. Two breaks after every word. So for example, this items is a list, something like this. I mean 1, comma 2, comma 3, comma 4. So let's say this is the list. So with this Jinja, with this piece of code, what will be printed on the terminal? Something like this. Okay, so you will be expecting two line gaps here. Okay, one break here and one break after this. Why?
Sir,
Because there is
I too,
break
sir.
here. Because there is one break here and one break here.
That is
See,
a
I
12.
wrote for items in item, I hit enter. Okay, then I wrote item and then again I hit enter. The number of
Okay.
times I hit enter are the breaks. Okay, now if
Number
I
of times you
want,
hit enter.
sorry,
Yeah, you said number of times you hit enter are the breaks.
breaks,
Line
yeah,
break.
line breaks.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, so there is one break here and there is one break here. You getting this? There is a reason I'll have one and then space, then two, then space, then three. What if I want the result to be something like this? Okay, then what I'll do, I'll give this minus sign here. So it will avoid this break and take only one line break.
One line break of
Okay.
item. Second line.
Yeah, that is the reason I'm having one, then below two, then below three, then below four. One line break.
Okay.
Okay. So this will happen. I'll just comment here with no breaks. Sorry, with no white space control. So what does this white space control mean? The white space that is coming in between of the two print words or statements, there is a white space. So I should be able to control this white space. Okay. So there is one white space starting from here. I mean, just after two till the end of line, and one white space is right below it. So there are two white spaces. Okay. That is what we are meaning. Here, there is one white space because I have taken care of one. All right. What if I want these numbers to appear like this? What will I do? I'll write minus here. Okay. So you can see the difference. I mean, I'll simply copy this code 3 times. Just give me a minute. So let's say this is the item. Okay. So if I have this code in Jinja, the expected output is below it. Okay. If I expect this code, if I wrote this code, the expected output is below this, right? And if I again write this code, the expected output is this. Okay, so you can see the difference. This is called as white space control. Okay, I'll just save it. You can take the screenshot of this.
Hyphen is for sorry, white space control, right?
Right, hyphen is for white space control. So even in the documentation, if you go, you might see that there are spaces coming and then you avoid the spaces and then there is something. So what are we doing? See, you look at this hyphens. These are for white space control. Okay. Just go through this. I have given you good explanation here, a very concise one. Maybe this
Yes,
one.
sir.
Okay. Then after that, we will who's on unmute and somebody new. Is this Srishti? Yeah.
Sir, can you please stay?
Yeah.
Yeah, I wanted to take the screenshot.
Okay. You can take anybody. Everyone else can take the screenshot of this.
Sir, if we place this hyphen in both the side of the percentage, what will be the effect then?
There's no point now here. Why do see? I want to break the space that will come after this, right? So there I'll get, and I cannot give it here. See, this is a condition block. A condition block. Everything and anything I have to do will be done in the condition block. That's why I cannot give it here.
No, sir. If
Like
in the
this.
conditional block, if in the both side of the percentage, like
Okay, what is above? Where
above,
are you giving space?
before the four.
I know, but where it will, take space out from? What is above?
Okay, okay,
Nothing is
Right?
there.
Yeah.
okay,
Therefore, there is no point having it here and no point having it here.
okay, sir.
Okay. And in items, because this is a placeholder, I cannot give any, anything apart from printing. That's why if I want to remove this space, this space, if I want to remove this red color, I will have to give hyphen here. And if I want to remove this red color, I'll have to give hyphen here.
Got it, sir.
Okay.
Hmm.
That is about white space control. Somebody joining. Let's go to documentation once again. Okay, line statement again, you don't need to do. Template inheritance is something that you can look for, not exactly important as far as quiz is concerned. Okay. I wanted to take a session, a small explanation on this. I just could not take it because of network issues. But anyways, I don't want to waste time in this because this is not important as far as quiz is concerned. We'll take it after the quiz 2 so that it will be helpful in maybe end term if it comes. Okay. So we'll leave this. Okay, scoping by itself is understood, so no an issue, no, not an issue. HTML escaping you don't have to worry about. Control structures you have already studied, right? So there is for loop, if, else, all those things are there. Macros. Have a look at macros. Maybe we have taken this in the Solvit instructor. I'm not sure if we have not, but this is like creating functions, right? I think I have taken this. If not, don't worry about it. But okay, have a go, have a look at it because this is like creating a function within Jinja, not in Python, right? So that is what it is. That's all. Okay, you don't need to call it filters. We've already given assignment. Assignment is something that you might need to create variables within Jinja, right? So generally what we do, we create variables in Python and send it into the template with Python, right? But what if I want to create a temporary variable within the Jinja? Okay, this is where assignments come in. So you create a variable with the help of this keyword called set. Okay, so this is something, have a look at it. Apart from this, that's all. That is all you need to study. So you can see there is half of the documentation we can skip for now. Okay. So you have to, the last thing that you have to see is macros. Okay. That's all. Nothing will come out of it.
Sir,
So that is about week 3.
assignment you said, no? Before that, what you said? Assignment?
Oh, assignment, did I say? I said, okay. Is it after? Okay. I thought assignment was before. So yeah, assignment is the last thing that you have to look at. Okay. How you have, so let's say I want to create this variable navigation. How do I do it? I create a block statement, use this set keyword and give the variable name. That's all. Okay, so that is about it.
And filters also, right?
Filters is the first thing that we saw.
Okay.
So
Okay.
from the starting till assignments is something that you have to look at in Jinja. Okay, that's about week 3.
Yes, sir.
Now in week 4 is more of, ORMs. Okay. More is needed to be studied in week 5. So when we introduce flask-sqlalchemy, we have a lot to talk about as far as week 4 and database is concerned, right? For as far as week 4 is concerned, you should be able to have a look at this basic wildcards. Okay, so I guess this is a W3 school or what? No. Okay, so these are basic wildcards. I've given a Microsoft thing. What wildcards do, right? If I want to search in a specific way or using some expression. I want to search for a word that has a specific expression starting with certain pattern, a pattern recognition that can be done with SQL wildcards. Okay, a better source. I mean, I generally don't recommend this, but you can go through. So there is W3 schools. Okay, so we generally don't recommend these resources, but the thing is, for certain things you can definitely go. So you can see that there are wide range of wildcards given and how they are used, right? So just go through this and it will be helpful. Okay, you don't have to by heart everything, just have an understanding of it, what is exactly happening. Okay, so that is about the wildcards. I'm not loading it. Maybe okay, what I'll do is I'll copy this link in the chat. White space, why break only, not spaces? I didn't get this question, Ritik. Let us try to understand this. Why break only, not spaces? Why spaces not counted in second line of code? Where exactly? Okay, I'll come to that one.
So could you please explain the macros part? I'm not clear with that.
So see, macros is basically creating functions. Let me take you to the documentation. Macros. Okay, so let's say you want to create a function, a simple function in Jinja. You don't want to create it in within the Python, but you want to do it in Jinja. Okay, now let me just copy this and I'll relate it with Python. So let's say this is a function in a macro. It is sorry, it is a function in Jinja. I'll write a similar function in Python. Input type, name, value, size, and
Should we just print, no? Print the name.
yeah. Or maybe something like that. Okay, that's all. So I hope you understood this function.
Yes, sir.
So what is
Okay, so
that
what did
type symbol in E? Value type symbol
yeah,
is
so that is what is filter. Okay, so what are we doing here? What is this doing? This is basically okay, so this is created right now. When how do you call this function? You will do this, right? That's all, because other values are already given, right? So these are all default values taken. The name is not given. So while calling it, what you will do? You will just call input and give xyz. Okay, so this is how you call it. Okay, similarly, this is how you define a function within Jinja. So you have to start off with the block, right? Every programming state, the programming thing that you want to create, that has to be done with this conditional block, right? It's curly braces and percentage. Okay, so here what I've done, define. So this is the keyword that specifies that I'm creating a function. Here macro is a keyword that specifies I'm creating a function. Input is the name of function. Input is the name of function. Similar to Python, I'll give all the values that I want. Okay. Now what it does it with this value is it creates an input tag. Okay. So what it will, if I do this particular input, how will I call it in Jinja? I will call it something like this. Sorry. Okay, so you can see that the calling of the function is very similar to calling of Python, right? Now, whatever comes out has to be printed here. That's why I've given curly braces, because this is a part of Jinja. Okay, so you can relate. Okay, I'll remove
It
it
is
from here.
a placeholder,
And
right? Double curly braces.
yeah, these are placeholders. So if you create a Jinja, a programming part here within Jinja, and you want to use it, so you created function here, you want to use or call that function, you will do it this way. In Python, that is not required. You just have to define function and call it whenever you want. Okay, this
So
has
in
to be strict.
Python, in line number 39, we have the print statement, and what will take care of the print in Jinja?
This. How do you print a name in Jinja? Okay,
That
how is
is,
item getting printed here?
yeah, these curly braces.
Curly braces, right? So here also the curly braces. So whatever is getting, when this function runs, whatever is returned will be print with the help of this curly braces.
Yeah.
So what
And so,
basically what are we returning? We are returning an input tag that has whatever type I give, right? So it is a text. Okay, I can change it to what we can. I can change
Sir,
it to. I can change it to text area, submit, select. Right. So if I do it select, it will create a select tag based on that.
sir,
Name attribute
in
can be anything. Value.
sir, in line number 25, item, there is space before item. That space will not be printed.
Okay, so that is, see, I gave this that space because I wanted to give some indentation for understanding. I can remove that space also. It will still be, see, indentations do not have any significance in HTML, right? That is the reason we have these blocks.
So indentation will count toward space, no?
Why? In HTML, if you give space, does it count as space? It does not have any significance. It will not be there.
So in HTML, when we write a document, we can ignore the indentation and we
Yeah,
can
yeah, definitely. You can
oh,
ignore indentation.
we can write in the straight line. I mean,
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah,
indentation.
definitely. See, that is what we have done in week 3 lab assignment.
Yes, sir.
So you created a template that was multi-line string. Did you look for any indentation there? But still it was working.
Mhm.
So that is the thing. Now this is filter. Okay, value filter E. Now what does E stand for? Let us check in the documentation. I think it is error or something. Not sure. Wait. If it is not there in the filter, it definitely means error. Doesn't look like, right? So that is,
so what if we remove that pipe symbol and E?
what if you remove pi symbol as in? You want to do this?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So what is the issue?
Like, what is the
You
then?
said
What
it
is
is
the significance of that pipe symbol and E?
filter, right? It is fine.
Yeah. So see, it is a filter. Okay. What does filter mean? Filter does not mean, filter by itself does not have any meaning. Okay. What does that mean is, if, for example, if I in the Jinja, if I write something like this, uh, or let's say something, I have a list, let's say items, again the same thing, and I want to print its length. How would I do it in Python? I want to print the length of items. What will I do? I'll write this. Okay. How will I do it in Jinja? I'll do it like this. Okay. So what does this mean? You find the length, whatever is followed, you find apply that method to this particular list. Okay, let me try to go to this list of built-in filters and give you the idea. Okay, so for example, see, list of built-in filters, there are these all methods, right? The way we have in Python. But how do we use them? For example, if I want to escape, I want to use this escape filter. How will I use it? There in the meeting, right? Yeah. How will I use it? I will use it something like this. Escape, and then it takes an argument. Okay, so what is happening here in this item list? So let's say if I do something like this 2, what it will do, it will neglect 2 from this list of items. This was the items, right? So it will neglect this 2.
So this
What
pipe E is for escaping.
No, it is a filter
I
we've
just
given.
took a random filter.
E is sir, E is for as an alias for escape. I saw somewhere. Should I share my
Yeah,
screen?
even I saw that, sir. It's,
Okay,
I
fine.
think,
Then it was, see, I was not sure about E, that's why I did not comment. I just said, I was talking about filter. Maybe then we could have come on E. Okay, so that's why I was using
but
any
it's
other filter.
this
length and all.
manual escaping is not clear, because that's what does it mean exactly?
Okay, wait, I'll show you. Let us see in the Jinja itself. So if I click on escape, it will take me to
So I
this, right?
posted
So
a
what I
link.
said, it takes value. Yeah. Okay, here, this is what you are saying, right? Yeah, that means then escape. So what is basically we are trying to escape? What are we trying to escape? Now let me come to that. For example, what if, okay, here we'll take this example only, E. Okay, this is the example that we're trying to take. For example, if I want, this is the macro defined. Okay, now let me run it with all the values given. Okay, so how will I run it with all the values given? I will, if I give xyz, that will be taken as name. But what if I write something like this? Okay, this I gave as the value, the second argument. Okay, now what will happen here when this value is placed here in HTML? What will happen? Let me try to replace with the right values. When how will it be rendered? Here the type will be text. Okay, name will be XYZ because that is what I gave. XYZ. And what will be the value? Right? Leave size as it is. That is 20. Okay, leave it. Okay, or instead of this empty list, where exactly? Where did I run? Yeah, here. I gave something like this. So I am running this function and I'm getting input like this. Okay, now the strings are removed from there, strings are removed from here. What is happening when this HTML will be rendered? This will be taken as a span tag because this HTML is rendered, right? I wanted the value to be span. I did not want it to get rendered. I did not want HTML to understand or
Clear.
take it, consider it as an HTML tag. I want it to be taken as string.
Okay.
Okay, but not exactly string. So what will I do? I'll write this. It will escape all the HTML tags. So it will escape this angle bracket. This will escape this angle bracket. It will, stop recognizing this as a tag.
So you mean to say whenever we pass a span tag, and if we are using escape, it just escapes all the angular and curly braces.
Yeah, for that tag. So it will take it as a value, not render it.
Okay, just a value span means string.
Just the value span with the angle brackets and everything.
With the
For
angle
example,
brackets,
now
right.
span makes sense. For example, if I have this, It will try to render mad1 with a tag and it does not understand what mad1 tag is. Right? The moment I write this, it will escape and give this as a simple string. Okay, that is called as HTML escaping. That is there in itself there in the documentation only. I ask you to not worry about it. So you see this escaping. Okay, so what it does, it is sometimes desirable, even necessary to have Jinja ignoring parts it would otherwise handle as variables or blocks. Okay, so in case of HTML, I want tags to be ignored, right? In case of Jinja, what if I wanted to use curly bracket? The moment I start using curly bracket, Jinja will start understanding it to be a print statement, right? I don't want that. See what is happening here, right? It has started escaping the double curly braces, even though double curly braces, define printing. So sometimes we want to do that, right? We will see that in Python also. If I want to escape quotes, what if, let's say in the Python there is a variable, okay, and the variable name is something like this. I wanted to write Adarsh phone, apostrophe S. How will I write this? See, these are, Python knows that these are quotes. It will not understand what is apostrophe. What will I do? I'll try to escape it. See, the moment I give backslash, now it is considered as string.
Yeah.
Okay, so now while printing it, it will not print this backslash. It will print Adarsh apostrophe S phone. That's all. Okay, so this is escaping.
So, sir, in the mad1 example, you said it is escaping the tags. I mean, it is not taking the mad1 as a tag. It is just printing the string mad1.
Printing the string with the angle brackets and everything.
Acha, angle brackets will be there even
Yeah,
after.
mad1. See, mad1 is not a tag. At the moment I give angle bracket, HTML will try to do something with it. Right? I want angle bracket to become unrecognizable to HTML. How do I do that? I escape it.
Okay.
How to do in Jinja?
This is what we've done, right? The value, whichever value I want to escape, I've given filter and escape it. E. Okay, so whatever value is being given, that will be escaped of all the HTML and Jinjas.
So the pipe and E would be inside the this thing. I mean the apostrophes.
Double curly braces. Yes.
No, in the mad1.
Because this part, yeah. No, where exactly? What exactly?
Here, where the pipe and E would be. I mean, how will it be placed?
No, this is a rendered one. No.
Oh,
This is escaped one. This is, see,
right.
what I did, this is the function created and this is the input given.
Ah, okay. Okay.
With
Yeah,
this
now
input, this was output.
Yeah, got it, sir.
So this is rendered. I don't need to do anything here.
Right.
Okay. Okay. Now let me, with that, let us match it with that input. Okay. Now makes sense, right? So this was the input. This is how it would render. So this is already rendered. What will I do with this? Right. So I have to take care within the block of code itself. Clear, no? Now what are these?
Yeah, apostrophe is needed in line number 35, right?
Apostrophe.
Yes, sir.
No, so you see, if they are passed on as a piece of string only, it will they are anyway escaped, right? But what if I want a value that is not a string? Then I need to escape it, right? That's
So I think what he's mentioning is the input should have the quotes, double quotes. Then only the output will also have double quotes.
Oh, yeah. Obviously, I changed a couple of times. Right. I changed it multiple times. This is what you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, right. So, okay.
Sir, is that hyphen needed in line number 33 after the first sentence symbol?
No, it's not needed. That is completely different thing. It is what it is trying to do. It is avoiding this space, this space. For example, if I run this macros multiple times, what will happen? I want the input to come one below the other, not like this. Right? Then it will escape. This do the white space controlling. Okay, so with this, if this was done multiple times, see, input once, input twice, the result would be this instead of multiple spaces. Okay, so that is a completely different thing. White space control we have already seen. I was trying to explain macro. And with that, I also explained filters. Clear now?
Yeah, so it is escaping the angular bracket and just printing it as a not as a
That's
tag,
what.
right?
That's what. You
Just
can
as,
understand with this simple statement.
yes, sir.
Okay, so that is about week 3 and week 4, right? So week 4 we will see more detail in, or the content of week 4 will be more detailed seen in week 5 and week 6, where we use Sqlalchemy, right? Okay, so week 5 is about controllers. So what did we study here? Basic Flask, everything about Flask, right? So what do you need to know exactly? You need to know Flask Sqlalchemy and basics of Flask. Okay, all these topics A to F and A to D we have taken in sessions, right? So if I click on this, it will take you to probably a documentation of Flask. No, it will take you to the session that I've taken. All right,
entire session.
and this also will take you to the session. Yeah, so you can see there are so what are we learning in this session? These things, starting from instantiating a Flask app to error handling with Flask, and similarly here instantiating a DB object to establishing relationships. Okay, so this is where that will be helpful. Okay, week 5.
So decorators, their theory was also explained.
Yeah, decorators is there, so that's why I've given a special a different link for that. This is where you can understand what decorators are, right? So very simply this is given. Why is this so hard? Background and things are given. Why are we calling it decorator? With very simple examples that help you to understand.
Okay.
Okay, so just go through it and have an understanding. And in the session that I've taken, in the doubt that I've taken, there I have given you, a way of solving question that comes in this. Okay, this is for general understanding. There I have given you the idea of how to, whatever question it is, no matter how hard or how difficult it looks, how to solve
The theory
it.
of decorators, right?
Sorry?
Theory of decorators, right? Which
Yeah,
you
this is
have
about what decorators are exactly. And that session I have explained how to solve the questions.
Okay,
so
sir.
you can go through. So this is about week 5. Week
Sir,
6.
up to decorator, which one will give priority? To decorator priority, sir.
That is also I've taken. That is also I've taken in detail. Just go through that session.
Yeah, Vivek shared a link. Yeah.
Okay. So this is my function. How will decorators be applied? Decorators will be applied like this. Okay, so first it will be, this complete will be a function to this particular decorator, like that. All right, so first my simple function will be decorated with decorator 2, then the entire output of that function will be decorated with decorator 1. So you have to move from bottom to top.
This is nested decorator, right? I mean, output of one decorator is going to other function.
Yeah, see, generally the output of, what are we doing with decorator? Modifying functions, right?
Yes, sir.
So output of a decorator should be a function, technically, right? Logically, it should be a function. This means this can be replaced by another function. I mean, this can be considered like this. Okay. The moment you write this again becomes a simple decorator thing. Okay. So that's what I'm doing. My function, you apply decorator 2, whatever comes out, that will be a function. Then you apply decorator 1. That is how it works. Okay, most of the decorator question you will see in the decorator function, the returned thing is a function itself.
Okay.
Okay. Right. Now Flask RESTful. So this is a very good documentation of Flask RESTful. It is very concise. It's unlike other documents where everything is there in detail and everything. You go to the Flask RESTful documentation. Mostly I've given hyperlink to my sessions only, but where are yeah, so basically what I've done is in this particular sessions I've so this link will guide you to one session. This link might also guide you to the same session, but it will start with exactly where I've started these points. Okay. So the timestamp of resourceful routing, endpoint mapping, timestamp of argument parsing is there, right? Formatting output, this will be with timestamp. Okay, so this is where you know how to and where to use Marshall with. Okay, somebody was asking me in the last session, I don't know what Marshall with is. Okay, if you don't understand with the session, you can go to Flask RESTful documentation. Flask RESTful. So this is a very concise documentation. What you have to do is go to a minimal API, resourceful routing, endpoints, argument parsing, data formatting, and based on these complete things, there is a full example given, right? So you can it starts from here, and it complete example will give you the sense of what has been taught here. And the request parsing, you will go into basic arguments. That's all. You will stop there. Okay, this is what you need to know. And in the resource output fields, you need to know basic usage. This is where Marshall with comes in. Okay, so this is very concise. There are multiple other things, but we don't use them generally. So I'm not, asking you to read that. So what do you need to do? Start off with quick start and do request parsing, output fields, and that's all. Don't go for error handling, error message as far as API is concerned.
Request parsing first basic argument, right?
Basic arguments, yeah. See, require arguments only will require one thing to add. See, for example, this is basic arguments. Okay. So this is how you create argument, right? I hope you have done week 6 lab assignment.
Yes.
Now you want to create required arguments. What do? You give this required equals to true. It's all. So the pointers look so much, but when you actually go through them, it is like one-liners or one statement or one attribute adding. That's all.
Sir, in some of the question, when in the add argument, if we give the type of the argument like int, string, and sometimes typecast the value itself, like if we can give in the string, that it will convert into the integer. Like if one is given in a string and it was mentioned in the request add argument that type should be int, it will change itself.
Here.
Yes, sir. If I give this value in the string, like 2 in a string, 3 in a string, then it will not throw any error. It simply typecast itself.
Yeah, see that why is that it will try to typecast the string that you have given. If you are giving 2 in string, can it be typecasted?
No, sir.
2 in string, can it be typecasted to integer?
Yes.
Can you typecast to string in integer 2?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So it will try to do it. If it does, it will do it.
Otherwise, it will
Okay.
throw error if I give the name or
Yeah.
something.
If you give anything else apart that cannot be typecasted, it will throw error. By default, even if you do not give any do not define anything, by default it will take a string. Every input given to any Python, it will be string. Okay, this type equals to int only only gives the idea to argument parsing the request body that okay, try to typecast into an integer. If it works, it works. It doesn't work, throw error. Okay, and what does this help? So when the error comes in this, instead of throwing it cannot be typecasted or things or that, it will give you this as error message. And that's why help, the string that is given in help is something very intuitive. See, you can see rate cannot be converted, right? The moment you give a string rate, for example, rate word itself, rate, what it will do, it will try to typecast it into an integer. If it doesn't happen, it will give you this as error message, rate cannot be converted. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you
So I
try
have a
all these
question.
things.
I have a question here. So is it sufficient to go through our assignments and to get for this thing, or do we have to go through this documentation also? Because there are a lot of things in the documentation we have not used in the assignment.
No. So assignment will 90% they will cover everything. Okay. 90% assignments will cover everything. Things like certain things which were not direct, which are not. See, if you can do things very easily without even using some concepts, why do we use it? So that was the thing. So it's not that you cannot use them. For example, in week 6 lab assignment, you can do it without marshalling, that is output fields. You can do week 6 without marshalling it. Okay. So therefore, there is no necessity of using marshal width, but it is an important concept. So you can have a look at it. There have been questions on it.
Sir, what is
Okay.
it doing?
See, so basically what happens is when you use marshal width, so when you don't use marshal width, what is the expected output of an API? The expected output API is a JSON, right? So whenever you create these classes, define, get, post, what you do in the return statement, you return the JSON itself. Okay. But let's say you want to return that JSON with every method, get, put, post, delete. You don't keep on writing the methods, right? I mean, the complete JSON every now and then. What you do is you define resource field. Okay. This resource field is added as a marshal width. Okay. And then you just have to return the object that you want to return. Okay. We'll see.
So
I
it's
have
very
a
well
question.
explained in the screencast, actually.
Yeah. So you can go through that also. And if I have, I think here also, if you see formatting output, so this will again take you to another YouTube video again, one of the sessions. So see here, I have explained what exactly marshal width is doing. Okay. If you still have doubt, we will be taking one question today that is on marshal width. Okay. So that will be helpful. Okay. So that is about week 6. Where are we? Yeah. Week 7 and 8 is not programmatically heavy, right? Week 8, just watch the activity practice session and open session of week 9, this one, Wednesday session. That should be sufficient to, cover every question that will come from week 8. Okay. So basic JavaScript, I've given a documentation of, so it is a session, but I've given a documentation of MD and docs also. But that is very comprehensive. So you don't have to, go through it. I'll just open and show you.
Sir, I have a doubt in the Flask route. Can I ask now?
Yeah, just give me a minute. Yeah, so this is MD and docs. It has as the heading JavaScript. So it talks about what JavaScript is, how do you use it, what are the tutorials. So this is very comprehensive. Read it when you have time. But what you can do is watch the session that we have taken on this last Wednesday. Okay, that will give you the idea of everything that we need to know about JavaScript as far as MAD1 is concerned. MAD2 is something else.
This Wednesday session, right?
Yeah. This Wednesday session. Okay, so that is about weeks 8. Week 7, we have taken one session about the algorithmic complexities and numericals. So will this again redirect to YouTube session? Yeah. Okay, so this is where we have taken all the numericals that are important as far as week 7 is concerned. Okay, so you can see all the important questions from practice assignment, graded assignment are taken here. So you can go through these sessions. See, all the questions we have taken, this give you a very good explanation of the numericals involved. So week 7 by itself does not have any programmatic component because it just talks about the organization of server machine, right? So there is no programming involved there. But what are the components that we have used? what are the things as far as memory is concerned, how do we search, how do we optimize the algorithms, all those things are there, right? And based on that, there are certain numericals which you can expect in quiz, right? So just go through this session and it should be okay.
Numericals is important, right? This week 7.
Yeah, numericals you can definitely expect. Week 7. Now, week 8 and all these are all programmatic part, JavaScript, whatever we have taken is sufficient. Okay, so that is about the week 7 and week 8. There are week 9, 10, 11, and 12 also. Use this for your end term. Okay, again, these will take you to various sessions that we have taken and will help you in various things. It's not that we'll not take these sessions. These sessions will be again taken by us. One on Flask login, one on PyTest, everything will be taken in detail. So no need to worry about it as far as end term is concerned.
This will redirect to the previous term session, right?
Yeah, some previous term sessions which we thought were good to share. So therefore we added their links. And sessions are generally very similar. Therefore you won't miss out on things that were taught. So what happens with these links, you have links to previous session, and this term session links you anyway have. You have subscription to the channel, right? So you can compare if there is anything missing. Okay, so this is what about the things that you need to remember as far as every week is there, right? So if you forget about this temporarily and if you focus on things to know, then also you will be able to solve most questions. Okay, we have taken this content so that you know what is there and what theoretical things need to be considered. Generally questions are not theoretical, but if some questions come, then definitely you'll have to answer that. Okay, just go through these presentation and you should be able to be guided to multiple things. Okay, I'll close these sessions. This session meaning not this current session, and have a look at the documentation of Flask RESTful, flask-sqlalchemy, right? All these extensions are important. So what you need to do is try to find out what was used in the lab assignment and just be thorough with that.
So one question, the weightage is going to be equal for all weeks?
No, weightage will be more on week 5 to week 8. Week 1 to week 4 will not have that weightage.
Approximately how much?
Weeks 1 to 4, 20%. Weeks 5 to 8, 80%.
Right.
So totally how many questions will be there, sir?
16.
16. It's quiz, right? 16 questions in this. Okay, yeah, so now I'll stop sharing. There was one question regarding class.
Yes, sir. Sir, if we define any endpoint in the app.route, and if we do give double backslash, so it will route okay if we don't give a double backslash in the browser tab. So
forward slash.
Yes, sir. Yes, forward slash.
Yeah, so we have a question on that. We will take that question and explain the concept.
Okay, sir.
Yes, Manan?
Sir, I had a question regarding the time complexity. It was a previous year question, paper question. Question says there is a time function which is given, and the number of n denotes the number of input, and we have to find what is the nature of the time complexity. It's
okay, can you share?
Okay, wait.
Meanwhile, Akash?
Sir, I want to ask question number 7 of mock test.
Okay, 1 second. Is it the forward slash about page?
Yes,
project
sir.
page?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we are going to take that question. Don't worry.
Sir, can I tell you the question? You can just type the input.
Okay, give me a minute. I'll share. Can you see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, tell me.
There is a search function S.
Okay, there is a search function S.
With n capital N, number of input. And it varies with the time, small t.
Yeah, so this is number of input. And then there is small t, sorry.
Time.
This is time. Yeah.
And the relation is capital N equal to
Capital N equal to
log base 10 T.
log n
T, small t. So log, log.
log. Yeah.
And we have to find out what is the nature of the algorithmic complexity of the search function.
Yeah. So is it exponential?
Yeah, answer is exponential. But how, sir?
Yeah. So the thing is, the search functions, you have to identify, you have to note that the search functions are time functions and they are function of input.
Okay.
Okay. They give you time for number of input. This is number of input as a function of time.
Okay.
Okay. So this is n equals to f of t. Generally what you see in mathematics.
Yeah.
Okay, but what are search functions? They are functions of number of input and they give you time.
Okay.
Okay, so if this is my search function, what will I have to do? I'll have to convert it into this format, line number 68. Okay, so this will be t equals to 10
power n.
n to the power n. So what is this function now?
Exponential.
This is
okay.
Constant to the power n. So this is an exponential function.
Okay. So search functions are basically t equal to f power n.
Yeah, any question based on search function you see, they give you time based on number of inputs. And logically that should be right? How you basically you need to find out how much or how less time is taken based on number of inputs. So your input is number of files or whatever is there, and the output is time.
Okay. So if we have to convert that search function to the given relation to the search function, we do this thing.
Yeah, so it should be done in this format.
Line 68 is search function.
Yeah, it is a search function, and this is again a search function, but this is not the right format of search function.
This is a relation given in question.
Yeah, this is just, that's why we have given a search function as is related in this thing. Okay.
So that is how we exponential. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, somebody raised hand.
Yeah, this is sir. Wanted clarification in graded assignment week 8 question 4. I think 4, 5, 6 are related, so maybe if you take, yeah.
Okay, fine. Grade assignment week 4, 5, 6. And
week 8 question 4.
Yeah, just a second. Let me open that. Oh, activity I'm created. Okay, just give me a minute and let me connect the tab. Okay, so I'm just trying to find the connector of the tab. Just give me a minute. Meanwhile, maybe we can take other questions. Will that be okay, Kaushik?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay, so I think there are some questions that we had configured. I think Shivani will be able to take those. Shivani, are you there?
Yes.
You're there, right? Okay, so you can carry on with the number of questions you had, and then we'll take this question. Okay.
Okay.
Doubts we can take later, right? I mean, after this.
Yeah, sure.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know why that happened. My screen was stuck. Okay, I rejoined. Give me a minute. Is my screen visible?
No. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, fine. Okay, we will discuss some questions. Are you able to see the questions?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, wait, I will zoom it. Okay, so this is the first question, that which of the following Flask view functions will return a 404 error for the URL, this URL. Okay, and we are given these options. Okay, so basically whenever we give input in the form of URL or in Python terminal input, what it takes it as string. Every time the input will be taken as string. But now if we these are the converters. Okay, now there are different types of converters, such as integer type, string type, part type. Okay, so what basically these converters do, now if I am taking input in the URL, now I am focusing about the URL. So basically what it will do, all the inputs will be taken as a string. But now suppose in my function I want to use that value as integer or string. For that I will use these converters. So basically what these converters do, this converter tells the function how to use that value. Suppose I am taking a value, suppose if I type any suppose in the URL I give any integer, suppose say 101, 101, 1001. Okay, so basically as I said that in the input it will take it as string. But if in converter I write it as int colon id, so what basically converter will do, though even though it is string, that converter will tell the function that take this value as string. Basically this converter is doing that. Now if I am writing string colon name, so what that converter will do, that converter will say to the function that use that value which is passed at this endpoint as string. Okay, so basically as I
Ma'am.
said that the inputs are already string, so we
Hello,
need
ma'am.
to mention. Yes.
Sorry to interrupt you. In the URL you said 1001. So
Yeah.
the converter will take it as integer, not string,
Yeah,
right?
in the input, whatever we write in the input, basically it will take it as string. Okay, so whenever I am taking that value, basically it is string. But here in the app.route, I am mentioning int colon id. So the converter will say to the function, use that string 1001 string as integer. This converter is saying to the function how it should deal with that value. So if I write int id, only then it will consider that the function will consider it as a integer. Okay, so basically this is string, right? Whatever the input we are taking in URL, it is basically string. And
yeah.
for string, yeah, and when the converter is string, so we don't need to explicitly mention that it is string. Okay, so you can see in the option number 3 also, uh, in case of string, we don't explicitly mention it as string. So now we have to check which are the options are correct. Okay, so as I said in option number 1, I am taking, this is my endpoint. Okay, these are my endpoints. So what I am doing, this is my URL. Okay, so after 1 minute. Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay, so in the first option, uh, as 1001 is integer as well, so in the first option, I am basically 1001 and Michael, these are basically taken as string from the URL. But in this function, in first option, I am treating it as integer, which is also valid. That's why option 1 is valid. In second option, I am taking as a string. So as I already said in the URL, if we give any input, it will take it as string. That's why option B is also correct. And I also said if we are using string converter, we don't need to mention that we are using string converter. That's why option 3 is also correct. Okay, suppose in place of 1001, I had written any like alphabetical value, suppose any name, and that is not integer, then in that case, that first option will throw error. So we will see that in VS Code. Okay, so we will have to check that which function will throw error. Okay, so I will comment others. This is my first option. So in first case, can you see it is showing me the output, right?
Yeah,
That it is not throwing error. That's why option first is valid one.
yes.
Okay, now we will see second option. I'm commenting this just because these are 3 different routes and the definition is show. If I use all of them at once, then it will throw error. That's why I'm commenting others. See, for the second option as well, it is not throwing error. This means that that is also valid.
Ma'am, it's taking ID as a string in the converter.
Yeah. So the second option is also valid. See, my debugger is active, so I don't need to turn off my server and turn it on again. So this is for the third case. Again, this is also valid. So in the question, we were asked which of the following will return a error. So as all the three options are valid, so the answer is none of the above. Is it clear?
Ma'am, in third option, ID
Yeah.
is given as a converter, but we are not specifying its
No,
data
no,
type.
no. See, in the third option, even though it is written ID, it is not int ID. This is different, and this first option is different. Here,
Okay.
I have mentioned the converter as int, so it will tell the function to use it as id. But here, this is only string. See, what I
Simply
have
we have
written,
written
string
ID.
colon name, right? So, and I already said that in case of string, we don't need to mention like this is also valid string.
So ID as
Basically,
a string is also valid, right?
yeah. So I have written that
Default is
string
string.
colon name. Yeah, I have written
Okay.
string colon name, and only writing this name, both these things are same.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now this is my second question. Consider the following Flask application. Okay, so what we have to do, we have to see which of the following routes will return the value is 10 in the browser. Okay, so basically what we are doing, we are using arguments. We are passing parameters. We have already seen these things earlier, right? So basically what we are doing, we have to check which of the function will return this value. The value is 10. Okay, so here this is my endpoint, and in my endpoint, is it capable to take this value? I didn't mention anything in this endpoint, right? It is only /get_value. So basically, is it able by itself? Is it able to take the value when here
No.
I am able to pass this input 1001 Michael, and it was readily accepted by the route. Why? Just because I have mentioned that in the endpoints, correct? But here in this case, I have only mentioned this URL, that is /get_value. So by itself, is it able to take these values? No. So how do we pass these values? For that, we will use parameters. And what do we do to use those parameters? After this URL, we will put this question mark, and we will pass the parameter values. Okay. So what do we require? We require this value of val1. So if I want to use this value and I am using parameters, so for that I will have to pass this val1 into my URL. Okay, so we will see this in VS Code. Okay. Wait, let me switch off this control. Accept this.
Ma'am, in this, can instead of .get, can you use square brackets and val1 also? Alternate?
Yeah, that one is also valid. Okay, so now we will have to check. As I already told, 1 minute.
Now, how that is valid? Square bracket.
Okay, so what we will do, we will try with the first option. Why it is showing not found? Because what is mentioned in my URL? What is my URL? My URL is this /get_value. And in first option, this is a wrong URL, right? It is only taking that base URL, and after that, it is taking val1 equals to 10. That's why this
Endpoint
option
is
is
not
correct. Just because this endpoint is not mentioned in first option. That's why this option is incorrect. Okay. Now we will go with the second option.
Ma'am, whatever comes after question mark, that is a query string, right?
Yeah, it will take it as parameter, and we can use that in our definition.
It means, yeah.
Now again, it is throwing error. Why it is throwing error? Just because here I have not mentioned. Here I need value 1 and I have not mentioned it over here. That's why it is throwing error. This is incomplete. This is not how we pass parameters to the URL. This is a wrong. This is wrong. That's why this is invalid. That's why it is throwing error. Now we will go with the third option. Okay. So here you can see it is returning me this value. The value is 10. How? Here, what I have basically done, I have used this endpoint. Okay. Up to this is my base URL and my endpoint. Okay. After that, what I have done, I have given this question mark and I have given val1 equals to 10. That is what we were requiring in our definition and output, right? As this is valid one, that's why it is returning the value is val1 10. Okay. Now we will go with the fourth option. Okay. Again, it is giving me the valid output. Here you can see we have also passed extra parameter value 2 equals to 10. Even though even though we have passed it and we have not used it in the function, it won't throw error. Why? Yeah, like giving extra parameters is not an issue. But if we require this parameter and if we don't pass it in my URL, only in that case it will throw error. So even though if we pass more parameters, that is not an issue. So even this option is also valid. That's why
So, ma'am,
the answer for this question is C and D.
ma'am, in option D, if we give a wrong value in the val1, then will it be right? Means if we took val1 equal to 8 and val2 equal to 10.
Then it will not return value
Hello?
the value as 10 just because I want val1 as 10.
Okay.
In my definition, I
So
have used
whatever,
val1, not val2.
No,
yeah,
what he's saying, ma'am, can you try val1 8 and again put val1 10
val, huh.
Oh,
and
let me try.
val1 10 again?
Okay, 1 minute. Like this?
Yeah, so it's wrong. It's just taking
Yeah,
the first value.
it is. Yeah, it is
Yeah.
taking the first one.
So, okay.
Yeah. So in this case, the option number C and D are correct. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. This is next question, which is based on flask-sqlalchemy that we have already seen. So consider the following
Ma'am,
table.
one doubt in previous one.
Yes.
In previous question, if we do not use double quotes while getting the args, request.args.get, and normally write val1, will that work?
It should not work.
It won't work.
Why?
It's a dictionary.
I think it will treat
See, it
like
is throwing error.
What is the error? cannot access
treating
the
the index
Yeah.
as a variable. You can't. It's a dictionary, so you'll have to put
It will
a
throw error.
proper
incorrect double
index.
quote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, understood.
So double quotes will, I mean, it is a part
Yeah,
of
it is
dictionary.
necessary. Yeah.
I think Ritik is already
So
answered on the chat.
this is the third question. Consider the following table EMP created in SQLite database corresponding to model class employee using flask-sqlalchemy. So this is my table in my database. Which of the following code snippets correctly increases the salary of all the teachers by 1000 rupees when typed in the Python console? Okay. So basically this is my database. So what I want to do, I want to increase the salary of all teachers. So first, to get all teachers, what I will have to do, these are my teachers. That
Go
field
through the
number
name.
second, 3 and 5. Okay. To access that, first I need to access that object. Okay. So for that, what I will do, I will use this query by filter. Okay. So we will see the first option. In first option, what I am doing, I am using this variable emp equals to employee, which is my class name, employee dot query dot filter by designation equals to teacher. Why? Just because we want to increase the salary of teacher. So we are using filter by all. So basically what this emp will give, it will give me a list of objects, and we have these three objects, number 2, number 3 and number 5, right? So what then, it will give me a list of objects. Now if I want to access the each element of that list, how I will do, I will use this for loop, right? So if I write for staff in emp staff dot salary plus equals to 1000, what does that mean? That staff dot salary is equals to staff dot salary plus 1000. So basically what this will do, this will go to that first object and it will retrieve this data, that is it will it will retrieve this data, that is 5000 for the first object, and at that place what it will do, here I am using staff dot salary, that's why I am able to retrieve the value of that salary. So where at that point what it will do, it will add 1000 to that value, right? And after that what I am doing, I am doing db.session.commit. So basically it will update the value of the salary. So option 1 seems correct, right? Now we will see
Ma'am,
other options.
ma'am, in
Yes.
first option here, staff is referring to all the teachers, right? Which we
Yeah,
got from
just
the
because,
filter.
yeah, here what this will emp will give, here I am filtering it, okay, with respect to teacher. So it will
Okay.
basically
Give a
okay, I
list
will
of all
write
the.
somewhere, yeah, I will write here. Okay,
So
so
write a
basically
table.
what it will give, it will give me the list of object 1, object 2 and object 3. Okay, so
Yeah.
it will give me these three objects, that is this second entry, third entry and fifth entry, right?
Fifth
So
entry.
now if yeah, this is a list, and if I want to access each element of the list, what I will have to do, I will have to use this for loop to access each element. So what I'm
Yeah.
writing for staff in emp, staff like any value in emp, any object in emp, so it will consider first object 1, and in that first object what I am doing, staff dot salary. What this staff dot salary indicates, the object 1's attribute salary. Staff dot salary indicates the salary,
Yeah.
refers to the salary attribute of this object 1. That is how I
Yeah.
will retrieve that value. And at the same time I am using this that operation
Plus
plus
equal
equals to 1000. So what it will do, it will add 1000 in 5000 in that value, and after
and
that I am using db.session.commit. So what it will do, whatever the changes that I have made will be updated in the database.
Okay. Commit
Okay,
option is
so
to change the.
yeah, yeah. If I don't commit that, then only it will be added in the session. Suppose if I print that on the console, then it will be printed, but the changes won't be added to the database. That's why we need this thing is very important to commit the changes in the database. Okay, so that is how option 1 is correct. Yes,
But committing outside the for loop,
your
right?
voice is not audible.
It's not clear.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello, am I audible?
Hello.
You're audible, ma'am.
Yeah. His voice is not audible.
And how can we do this question with Jinja and updating the database? How will we do that?
In Jinja?
We'll firstly take the values from Jinja, and then after that
Okay.
we'll update the database. How will we do that?
We have already seen that. For that I will use this curly braces, and for this for loop I will use that percentage sign, that single curly brace and percentage sign. That is how I will use this for loop, and I will pass this value like in my Python code. I will take this as variable, and while using Jinja I will pass that value into it. That we have already seen.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, here the commit is outside the for loop, right?
What committing?
He's saying the commit is outside the for loop. He's asking that.
Yes.
db.session.commit, is it
This
within the
means
for loop or outside the for
even
loop?
I can write it at 3 times, or even after coming after the for loop I can write it just in one sentence.
Okay.
So it can be both within the for loop or
Yeah,
outside the for
yeah,
loop. Both will
is
work.
valid. No, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so like it is okay. So this first option is valid. Okay, so in this second option, what I am using, employee.query.filter by gender. Do you want to filter it by gender? No, we wanted to filter it by teacher. That's why
Designation.
this, yeah, designation.
Teacher.
So this second option and third option are incorrect. Sorry, incorrect. Yeah. And here, what I am writing, employee.query.filter employee.gender.like%t. Again, t%. Again, it is incorrect, right? Just because.
Gender.
Yeah.
It's asking for gender, right? Yeah.
Also, even, yeah, this is incorrect. And even if it was writing designation, again it was incorrect. Why? Just because we are searching for teachers. Okay, so what basically this what does, it will tell that it should start with T, and after that it can be anything. Okay, but here if we see in my database, there is one more entry, technical staff. So even it was designation over here, then again it would have been a wrong option. So basically my option number 1 is correct. Is it clear?
Designation, you said if it was designation, then also
Here
it's wrong.
it was written gender. So now if I write designation over here, so what this basically says, that it should start with T, and after that I don't bother whatever it is. Okay.
Yeah.
So but in my entries, in my question, it was asked only for teachers, and here there is one more option, technical staff. So again that will be an incorrect option. So only option 1 is correct.
Got it.
Ma'am, if we wanted it for male teachers, then how can we change the option 1 to
Then we will
get
write
only
gender equals to male.
Gender.
We will use that attribute. No,
No, we want male teachers. So we want male as well as teachers, right? So designation has to be there, isn't it?
You have to use two filter by.
you are talking about male teachers.
Yeah. How do we do that in option 1?
Male, gender equal to male and designation is teacher.
But can we use and in this query filter by?
You can use filter by twice, I think. So dot filter
I'm
by
not sure about
teachers
it.
and dot filter by.
Sir, are you there in call? Hello? 1 minute.
Or is I think.
So yeah, I've added in the chat. This is how you do. It has to be comma separated.
Comma separated.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the filter by call, you have to write all the. If you are doing it with multiple columns, it has to be comma separated.
It can't be filtered twice.
And this comma is and, so can we have or case?
Or case. Okay, so how do we do that?
So the comma provided means and, right?
Yeah, so it will take it multiply. Yeah, so what you can do is maybe then not use filter by. What you can do is filter. Just use filter function. Okay. So Shivani, are you going to explain something else, or you are done?
I'm done, sir.
Okay, so I will share my screen and show. Yeah, so there is one function that is filter by, right? So here the comma separated attributes will take it with and. Okay, so it will be taking both this and that. Okay, so right, comma separated, and it takes and. Okay, but then there is this filter. So what filter does is you have to write. So here we are writing designation directly, right? But here we'll have to give the name name of the table also. So what is the name of the table in that case? Worker, is it?
Employee.
Employee dot designation. Employee dot designation equals to teacher, and then and employee dot gender equals to male, like this. Okay, dot all. Okay, so in the filter function you have to give the table name and then the attribute name. In filter by you don't have to. Okay, now this can be replaced, this and can be replaced by or also, so you have all the conditions there, right?
Yeah. I mean, sir, line 72 comma is separated by and.
Yeah, so see, if I wanted to in filter by, it might not be possible to do it or. Okay, so in filter by, if I want to select all the values that have designation as teacher as well as gender as male, both together, then they are done with. So this is not a condition, right? They have to be comma separated like this, and then also we don't need to provide what table they belong to, because we are already querying that table. In filter, we will have to provide the table.
So this filter is SQLAlchemy or is it only SQL?
It is SQLAlchemy only.
Okay.
It is SQLAlchemy, because had it been SQL, I would have written the query.
In SQL we write full
select.
Selector, yes.
So both are different functions, but they have very similarity. You can say filter is from SQLAlchemy, filter by is from flask-sqlalchemy.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but it's not that if you are importing, one of that you cannot use. Just flask-sqlalchemy has to be explicitly imported. That's what we did, right, in the import statements. But these are two different functions, and here I've given you how differently they work. So it is just a syntactical difference in between them.
Sir, suppose this question we have to print the name of the teachers in ascending order. So can we use inside this filter by order by something?
Yeah, you can. So this filter, instead of all, you write order by, order underscore by, and then the attribute, right? Is ascending, ASC. Okay, like that. So they can be clubbed like this: dot filter by, dot order by, right? But also another way of doing that is, at the end of the day, what is this filter by? What you will get this? You will get let's say uh, required fields. Let's say I stored this in the required fields. Later on, if you don't want to use or don't not sure how to use order by, what you would do, required field dot sorted. So we'll use Python. Okay,
Sorry,
so
sorted is for
Okay, sir.
Python.
yeah, so this is Python.
Python built in.
Okay, Python.
Sir, male teachers means you have to use and na, instead of or.
Where? Yeah. So I just, I mean, initially I wrote and. I just showed that if you want to do it or, you can use or, because here this is a condition. Here this condition is given in a different way where they have to be comma separated. So we cannot explicitly provide whether we are using and or. By default it takes and. Okay, but in the filter we can provide this is condition, right? Because we are using double equals to. So here we can use both and or like that.
So in line 72, it should be single equal to, right?
Yeah, it should be, yeah, this one. This is single equals to.
So by default, a comma takes as and.
And, yes. So basically what happens here, first it will take all the records with designation teacher, and within those, it will take all the records, first it will take all the records with gender teacher, and then all the records with gender male, where all both are, intersecting, or only those records will be fetched.
So we can't write or in filter by.
I'm not sure how to do that at this point. That's why I've used filter. Okay, because wherever I've used filter by, it's comma separated.
So for filter, it's sufficient to import Sqlalchemy.
Yeah. But see, because the other things, for example, Sqlalchemy will, I mean, when you query a table, the way you define model in Sqlalchemy is different, right? But in Flask Sqlalchemy, it is, abstraction of what is required in Flask. Okay, so most of the methods, even the filter by works on the filter. So you can use filter directly with Flask Sqlalchemy.
Right.
Okay, so I mean there is generally we would not mix these two, because
Confusion.
Then
It is creating confusion. Yeah.
Yeah.
If you
So
both use.
either you stick with Flask Sqlalchemy or you stick with Sqlalchemy. There will be things like this where you want to do multiple conditioning. There you can use things like filter. But why we are using filter? Because it is there in both.
This filter operator is for Flask Sqlalchemy.
Yeah, both. Filter by is specifically for Flask Sqlalchemy, but filter can be used in both.
Both means
Sqlalchemy and Flask Sqlalchemy.
Okay.
Okay, so that is about it. Now we will take some questions that I left before. So I think there were questions on from the mock itself. So these
Yes,
are the ones, right? 4, 11, 12, 13. Then one question number 7, and then we'll see. Okay, so we are in, let's go to the mock. Yeah, and then these 3 questions from week 8 grading. Okay, so I'll start off with this because I have the tab connected. So it will be, I'll take the numericals first. So if you know one, you will know other. Okay, so what I'll do, I'll quickly open Jamboard.
You're starting from which question?
Yeah, so I'm starting off with graded assignment week 8, question number 4, 5, and 6.
Oh.
Okay. Alright. So what is there in the graded assignment week 4, 5, 7? What is there? So first, see, there is some idea on basically what kind of server we are using. Okay, 16 core, 64 GB RAM. We will use these 16 core CPU, 64 GB RAM, and 1 Gbps connection based on what is asked in the question. Okay. So here, if I see so there are currently we are having three important information about the server. That is 16 core CPU, 64 GB RAM, and 1 Gbps network connection. Based on the question, we'll see what to use from this. Okay.
16 core means 16 bit, sir.
16 core means?
Core here means.
No, see, core means, see, there are, cores in the CPU, which gives you the idea of how many simultaneous functions can be done in a CPU at any point.
Okay. Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, and this is more of organizational attribute. So you don't need to worry about 16 core CPU. Okay. We need to focus on whether I want to use a 64 GB RAM information or 1 Gbps network connection information. Okay. Now, based on the question, we will use that. Okay. And I'll show you when to use, when you are expected to use this information. 64 GB RAM. Okay.
Okay.
Now here it can run a Python Flask application that generates 500 HTML pages per second. Okay. We're talking about capability of generation and sending and receiving requests per second. That means network comes into picture. Network bandwidth. Okay. Therefore, we'll use network connection.
Okay. So this Gbps is gigabits per second.
Right.
Network connection.
Yeah, it's bandwidth. So the bandwidth that we have been talking about since week 1.
Yeah. Yes.
Right. So it can run a Python Flask application. Now what is happening here? I'll show you the scenario. Let me read the question. So it can run a Python Flask application that can generate 500 HTML pages per second. Each page has a 100 KB image that needs to be downloaded by the client. What will be the maximum number of requests per second that the server can handle? Okay. So what is happening here? Let's say there is a client. Okay. Pen. Okay. So there is a client here. Okay. And then there is a server. And then there is network connection. And what is this network connection? It is 1 gigabits per second. All right. And there is a Flask application running on server. This Flask application is capable of generating 500 HTML pages per second. Okay. So we need to know what is the data. We cannot say anything about 500 HTML pages unless we know what is the data embedded. That is the reason we have 100 KB image given. Okay, so if you see in the question, there is a 100 KB image that needs to be downloaded by the client. Why is that required? Because the HTML page, let's say this is the HTML page, it will have head, body. It also may have an image tag that embeds this image, 100 KB image. Okay, now generally, if you observe, what is the size of an HTML page? It is in the order of some hundreds of bytes to 1 kilobyte. Okay, now we are talking about one HTML page that has a head tag, body tag, and an image tag. Okay, so that is 100 bytes to 1 KB. Okay,
This is size of one image, right?
This is the size of one HTML page, the document that is written, text file, .html file, index.html. Okay, so even in your the lab assignment, the 200, 300 lines of code that you're writing might not be more than 4 KB. Okay, so you can imagine that head tag, body tag, and image tag will not be in the order of even kilobytes. It will be the order of bytes. Okay.
So till 100 bytes, it will be 1000 bytes, 1 kilobyte, right?
Sorry.
1000 bytes. Yeah.
Yeah, 1000 bytes.
Bytes. Sorry. Yeah, bytes. Yeah.
Okay, so 100 bytes to 1 kilobyte is the range, and that is the approximate range I'm talking about. Okay, based on data. Now this embeds an image. This means when I download this page or when I request for this page, this image has to be downloaded. This means the total data that I'm getting is 100 kilobytes plus minus some bytes. Why? Because this is coming from the index.html. Okay, so can you safely consider it to be 100 KB?
Yeah.
Right?
Yes, sir.
So we can consider the size of each HTML page to be 100 KB. And how many such pages are there? 500 pages per second. So multiplying these two, can you get the data that is that the Flask application is able to generate per second?
Yes, sir.
Right. So it is 500 into 100 kilobytes, and this is happening per second. So let me do it in the unit that is very similar to our bandwidth. Okay. So we'll try to do it in Gbps because we have a bandwidth directly given in Gbps. Okay. So if I see, this will be 50 into 10 raised to power
Sir,
3.
bandwidth formula.
Sorry. Bandwidth I've not taken out yet. I've just found out that Flask application is able to generate 500 HTML pages per second, right? So what I've done basically, I have, okay, what is bandwidth? It is, data per second. Okay, and what do I have now? So, I've always been telling, write the units, you'll know what to do next. So it will be 500 per second into data will give me data per second, right? So that's what I've done. 500 pages into data per page, and this is pages, right? So these pages get cancelled, you get data per second. And what is bandwidth. Okay, so that's why I have multiplied these two quantities. So 500 into 100 kilobytes per second. Now I will convert it into a unit very similar to Gbps to see which one is greater or smaller. Okay, so if I write it here, it is 500 into 100 into 10 raised to power 3 into 8. So this is together what I'm getting bits per second, right? Because the data I had was 100 kilobytes, so I multiplied it by 8. Okay, how much it is coming? So 500 into 8 by itself becomes 4,000, right? 4,000 into 100, that is 4 into 10 raised to power 5 into 10 raised to power 3, that is 10 raised to power 8. So it is 4 into 10 raised to power 8 bits per second, right? Now, if I try to multiply, convert it into gigabits per second, I'll get it is 0.4 gigabits per second. What I've done, divided by 10 multiplied by 10. I know 10 raised to power, so it will be 0.4 into 10 raised to power 9 beats per second. This is giga. Therefore, I can easily write 0.4 gigabits per second. Okay. Right?
Yes.
Is this clear till this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So at one point, I have a network. I'll again draw the client and server. Okay, I have a network that is capable of transferring 1 gigabits per second. Okay, but my Flask application is able to generate only 0.4 gigabits per second. Okay, so what will be the final network speed?
The network speed will remain the same, but you can transfer up to 0.4 Gbps.
That's all, right? I cannot go to 0.5 or 1 Gbps.
Right.
Right, because my application is not capable enough to, give more than 0.4 gigabits per second data in 1 second. Right. So the actual bandwidth, the net bandwidth will be whichever is less. So the concept is you find out this, whichever is less, you use that. Because the capping is coming because of that. You're getting? So let's say if I
can you show the previous page, sir?
Yeah. Yeah. So parallelly I'll speak. So let's say I'm connecting to a web page or web server that is Google's, right? So it might have a very good bandwidth, but my network connection is only 1 gigabits per second. I will have to wait, or I'll have to be confined with whatever I have, the network connection. Okay, doesn't matter how powerful or powerless is the CPU, unless its power is less than the network bandwidth. You're getting? So here this CPU or the server or the machine has a bandwidth or the generation capacity of only 0.4 gigabits per second. So it doesn't matter how how high my network bandwidth is, I should be able to get only with the rate of 0.4 gigabits per second. So all things put together, what we have to do, we have to figure out the network bandwidth and the capability of server of generating data and figure out whichever is less. Okay, so with that,
So if I'm clear on this question, this is basically a way, if you're launching a website, to negotiate with the data center that this is the maximum bandwidth I require. Am I correct? I mean, if
you can say that. Yeah.
Okay.
Minimum bandwidth you require.
Minimum, bandwidth.
Right? Because if it is less, then my the power capability of my server is getting wasted if the network is not there.
Right.
So minimum.
So if they are offering something like 10 Gbps, I'll say I don't require that much.
Yeah.
I mean, okay, right, sir. Got it.
And again, I mean, on that, the network bandwidth is decided by the client, because you at your home decide what should be the speed of Wi-Fi.
Right.
Right. So I mean, and it is the capability of server to send or receive data. That's why we have some web pages working very fast, some web pages working very slow, because it depends on their server machine. All right. So it is complete a negotiation. I mean, whichever is less will actually cause problems. Right. So we have to work according to that. Okay. So if that is clear, let's move ahead with the question. All right. So what will be the maximum number of requests per second that the server can handle? All right. So now what I'll do now, with the given thing, how many requests, I mean, with the current thing, with the 0.4 gigabits per second, right? With 0.4, how many pages were handled? 500. If I follow this 1 Gbps, how many pages will be handled? Just apply unitary method X. You will get this answer to be 1250.
50, right.
Okay. So with this, had the server had this particular bandwidth, I would have got 1250 pages, because it would have been capable. But since it is not capable, I should be able to get only 500, even though my bandwidth is 1 Gbps. Okay. Therefore, the answer of question number 4 is 500. Okay. Now you see there are three things. What did we use? We used the network bandwidth. This is one thing. Second thing, we used capability of Flask app. That is how many pages. Okay. And the third thing was size of one page. So what you do is, every time in all these questions with the given data, you multiply these two and compare it with 1, right? So you multiply 2 and 3 and you compare it with 1. And based on whichever is less, you select that one. You select whichever is less and then figure out what will be the capability according to that. So in our case, it is 500. Okay. So with whatever you got, let us try to do the next question.
So this 16 core is just given for...
Yeah. Now let us come to the other information here. For example, so this here the information is given about only, or no information is given about client, right? We are not talking about concurrent using, right? If you remember the last question of week 1, we talked about concurrent viewers. There was use of RAM, because we were creating objects, right? We were creating copies of the same file that was there in the server and serving it parallelly, because every user will have its own version of video, right? There it will, make use of RAM.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So if the question had been a server has 16 core CPU, 64 GB RAM and 1 Gbps network connection. Okay. If there are let's say 2 million concurrent viewers of a video on YouTube. Okay. What should be the RAM size? Or if with this RAM size, how many viewers can easily see the video without, buffering? Right. So RAM size will come into picture when there are concurrent viewers. Bandwidth will come into picture when there is no information about the client, but the network bandwidth information is given. Okay, and about the generation capability per second. So wherever you read this word per second, you should connect it with network bandwidth. Okay. Though you won't expect, I mean, you don't expect questions on 16 core CPU because we are not really bothered about at this point how cores of CPU are affecting the functioning of an application. So a lot of information about that has to be given. Okay, and since we have not covered it anywhere, we will not be focusing on that. Okay, so maybe the information may be okay, 16 core CPU with a Flask application running on one of its core. Okay, how many such applications are running parallelly? And then with that, each application is generating 500 HTML pages per second. So it is unnecessary complicating the question. We don't want you to, we don't want to test the calculations with this concept, which is, hardly of any web importance. Okay, what are we bothered with? Concurrent viewing and viewing at speed. Okay, therefore these two parameters might be helpful, and which one to use will depend on what is the question further. Will that be okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so with that, if I'm connected, yeah. So with that, I'll cover the next question and I'll leave the fourth one to you, the last one to you. Okay. So what is the case? In question number 4, if the image resolution is improved such that the size of all images is increased from 100 KB to 500 KB, but keeping all other parameters unchanged. So what I'll do is, so this is question number, let's say 5. So what is happening here? What is the bandwidth? 1 Gbps, because other parameters are same. Okay, what is the capability of Flask app? 500 only, because it could create 500 pages last time. What was the size of image? 100 KB, but now it is 500 KB. Okay, so what we'll do, we'll multiply these two, compare it with this, and see what happens. All right, so when I multiply these two, what will I get? I'll get bandwidth of machine, right? So I'll do 500 into 500 into 10 raised to power 3 into 8. So this answer I'm getting in bits per second. Okay. So what is this coming to? 500 into 500 is, okay, 500 into 8 is how much? I guess 4,000, right? So 4,000 into 500 is
20,000.
20,000. So it is
It is
20,000
2 Gbps.
to 10 raised to power 3 bits per second, right? So how much it is coming to be?
20 lakhs, sir.
20 lakh. Sorry, didn't get 8. Yeah. So it is 20,000 is wrong, right? Let me calculate. 500 into 500 by itself is 25,000 is that only.
25,000. Yeah.
20 more.
25,000 into 8 is
2 into 10 raised to power 5.
25,000 into 8 is 2 lakhs.
Yeah. So
yeah,
this.
2 lakhs.
So it is 2 into 10 raised to power 8.
Sir, 500 into 500 is 2
So
lakh
500 into
50,000.
500. So it will be
And,
25 into 10 to the power 4. 500 into 500.
20 lakh.
20 lakh. Yeah.
Okay, wait,
It
let me
will have 6 zeros.
Let me
It
calculate.
will have 6 zeros.
Yeah, right. Yeah, 2 will have 6 zeros. So what will happen? This will be 9 then, bits per second. And if you see this 9, I already got, this means it is 2 gigabits per second. Yeah, so somebody speaking 2 gigabits per second was correct. So I know that with that, I know that my Flask application is capable enough to generate good amount of pages or good amount of data as compared to my network bandwidth. So where will be the cap? What will be the cap?
1 Gbps will be.
1 Gbps. Right? 1 Gbps. So what will happen? It was generating 500 pages with this bandwidth. With this bandwidth, how many it will generate?
250.
250. Okay. Achha.
250.
So you can now solve this question number 6. Okay, so you understood the concept, and then after concept I gave you how to solve it, right, in 3 steps, because you understood the concept.
So 250 how, sir?
Okay, see.
Half. No?
Yeah,
2 Gbps and
see,
1 half.
with this thing, with this information, 500 pages being generated, 500 KB each. So I found out how much data per second is generated.
Okay.
Okay, so 2 Gbps data is generated, and that corresponds to 500 pages. But what is the capability of network to take only 1 Gbps? So this is in terms of data. In terms of pages, how many it will be?
250.
Okay.
So one request means one page, isn't it?
One request is one page. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. How much data is getting stored that we are taking out with the data given for one page? Correct, right? So you can solve for question number 6, and then you'll see the answer is 1500. Okay, so that is about these 3 numericals. Let's move on to
Please, question number 7.
This only.
Okay.
This question number 7.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Which of the following is true about DOM? So DOM is used only inside the browser for asynchronous updates. JavaScript has APIs for manipulating the DOM at runtime. It is mostly used only for updating inside a browser, but not restricted to it. DOM updates can be used to add new entries into the database. See, DOM is something that we have seen in the last session. What it does, DOM is a document object model. It is a tree representation of any HTML file. Okay. And what we are doing with the help of DOM, we are using JavaScript to manipulate DOM. Okay, so I can change the components of a HTML file without actually going into HTML file. Okay, how do I do that? With JavaScript. And that process is called as DOM manipulation. Okay, so DOM is used only inside the browser for asynchronous updates. It is, but not only confined to that. Okay, so if I want to update a particular piece of document using JavaScript, I can do that. That's what I've been telling, what DOM manipulation is. But is DOM used only for that? No, it is used to store all the elements, their attributes, content, for the browser to understand, for the JavaScript to work with it. So is it only allowing asynchronous updates? No, it is more than that. So first is not correct. Okay, it is partially true. If I had removed this only, then it would have been true. Okay, JavaScript.
Sir, what is that asynchronous update?
Sorry?
What is that asynchronous update?
Yeah, so what is this asynchronous update? I'll show you. See, for example, when I click on this arrow, what happens? The page does not get loaded, but the content of the page is changed partially. See? Or if I click on this arrow now, what is happening? The content of page got changed partially and the new content added without changing the actual content of page.
Yes, sir.
This is asynchronously updating. What is synchronous update? If I reload the page, complete page gets updated. All the components get updated because the page is loaded now. Okay. What is this? Asynchronous update. Some things are not getting updated. Some things are not getting updated. Some things are getting updated. This. So updation happening partially on the page, dynamically changing. That is asynchronous update. How is this animation happening? Because of JavaScript. Okay. So that is DOM manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
So therefore, JavaScript has API that is for manipulating DOM manipulation. What this API is, that is document dot, right? So we have been using document dot everywhere for retrieving a particular element using JavaScript. If you have not watched that session, please go ahead and have a look. You will get. Okay. It is mostly used for updating inside a browser, but not restricted to it. That's what I said, right? If first option is wrong, third has to be correct. Okay. And DOM updates can be used to add new entries to database. No, because we were working only on HTML page. We are not, connected to model anywhere. So it will not be adding new entries to data. It has nothing to do with database. It is only a client-side mechanism. Okay. For a server-side mechanism or for a database operation, we need server-side mechanism, right? Commit, db.commit was never used in JavaScript. Therefore, it cannot do anything in the database.
Yes, sir.
Clear?
Thank you.
Okay, so we will go to now question number. Let me go to mock. I think it is in the mock unit, is it? Yeah. Question number 4.
Yes, sir.
What is the issue with this?
Sir, how it is giving the URL for dashboard?
It is not redirect, so it will just give the URL. Redirect to this, then it will display.
Okay, let me read the question. So from Flask, we are using Flask request URL for app.route dashboard. So app.route, there is a dashboard function, there is a dashboard endpoint. Then there is username endpoint and user function. And then there is login. Okay, so if request.method is post, we will return URL for user with username your name. Okay. Otherwise, if the request is get, we will return URL for dashboard. Okay. Now, what is happening in the above application is running on the URL this, which of the following is the correct output if the user visits the URL http this login using a browser. Okay. In the browser, if I click on any endpoint using a browser URL tab, okay, what will be the method?
Get method.
Get. So you forget
Default
about
get.
get method, right? Post will be triggered using browser only
when we are filling a form.
When we are filling a form.
That's all, right? So otherwise, if it is not a form, then the method is get. Okay. This means request.method is post is not true. We will return only the URL for dashboard. So dashboard is the method. See, in the URL for the argument of URL for method, this dashboard, whatever you put, has to be a function name. So what is the function name? Dashboard.
Dashboard, yeah.
And what endpoint is attached to that? /dashboard.
/dashboard.
Answer.
Sir, if it could have been written redirect URL for dashboard, then it will display this.
Yeah, then it
dashboard.
would have gone to this and printed this is dashboard. Yeah.
Okay, redirect method is for print.
See, what am I returning? See, generally, what is return? What is after return? Either render template or redirect. Right? Here we are breaking that law. If we are only returning URL for, it will return the URL for a string. That's all. It will not do anything. It will not trigger the function.
Function is not triggered, yeah.
Yeah.
If redirect, then trigger.
Yeah. If redirect is used, then what does that mean? You have to go to this endpoint and trigger it. Okay. If this is triggered, what will happen? This function will run. Currently, this function is not running. Okay. So if the function doesn't run, it will not give this is the dashboard. It will redirect only the endpoint.
And so,
give only the endpoint.
Okay. And so whenever we are triggering the URL /login, it is going to do the get request. I mean,
yeah. You
So
cannot
option
do
B
it.
is
See,
correct.
that is the reason we have given using a browser.
Using a browser. Okay.
This is every
So
question
option
statement.
B is correct.
Yeah.
Option B
is
correct, no?
Yeah. One good important thing to note.
Yes.
You forget about this, consider the following, but you have very good attention on this. Solving questions, because this will have lot many things. They look very similar. Okay, yeah, I understand it is running, but no, how is it running, where is it running, and what is being done? That has to be taken into consideration, right? So if I write using a browser, there is no way I can trigger a post method.
Post method.
Okay.
Sir, what happens if we define host as 0.0.0?
So what happens is, for example, you are running on Replit. Okay. So Replit is where is Replit running? Is it running on your machine? No, it is running on REPL server. Okay, but you are doing a what we call development environment. You are creating an application in the development environment. You are trying to use localhost, but localhost, what does that mean? It means that you are trying to use your own machine as server. But the Replit does not exist in your machine, right? You are just using a web application of Replit. So to connect this localhost of your machine and the Replit, you use special address called 4x0. Okay, so what it basically does is, it does not redirects to 127.0.0.1. It redirects to the IP address of wherever the server is running, REPL server is running, so that you can connect it as though you are using local server.
Sir, please repeat. There was some network issue.
Okay. So what I'm saying is, suppose the localhost that you're trying to run on does not exist on your machine.
Yeah.
Then what will happen? You will have to, the 127.0.0.1, what does that refer to? It refers to
Localhost.
machine address,
Hmm.
right? But if you're using Replit, is Replit working on your machine? No, you're just using the web interface of Replit. It is running on some other machine, server.
Okay.
Right? But when you do app.run, it gives you running locally, development server, and this and that. How is that happening? What it does, it says that although the REPL that is running is not running in your machine, still try to use it as a local host. So what it does, giving 0.0.0.0 tries to find what is the IP address of the machine where REPL is running, and then it runs it there. Okay, so whenever you open REPL and try to run an application, please note that there are multiple IP addresses coming.
Okay.
Okay, those multiple IP addresses are available address where this REPL might be running. Okay, so you don't directly go to 127.
You will just read to required.
Yeah, in REPL, when the local, when the machine, the client machine and the server machine are not same, but you're running in development server and you don't know the IP address of where my actual server, actual application is running, you need that. Okay, so that.
So, but if in my own machine I put 0.0.0, it'll still take 127 by default.
Yeah, why? Because 0.0.0 does not specify or does not represent any particular address. It represents all the available address.
Okay, got it.
In your machine, which one is the available? 127. So that will be.
So 0.0 is a valid IP address?
129.
Hello?
129. If we define app.route as 0.0.0. And if we hit the URL somewhere 129 or 128, what will happen?
No, see, you cannot define the IP address. See, 0.0.0.0 takes all the available IP addresses. So if it takes available IP addresses, you cannot do it by yourself. If you do try to do that, it will not.
In app.run.
Sorry, what is happening? I'm not able to hear you.
Why is it
like this?
Who's speaking?
Ritik, your audio is not clear. Can't hear you.
Sir, he is in traveling, so I don't think.
Okay, no, Ritik, what you can do is you can type your query on the chat, right? I'll try to get it and answer you. Okay, because we're not able to hear you and not able to understand exactly. So
He asked the same question.
Okay. So what will happen? It will run on available IP address. If you're running on local machine, it will run on 127. If the machine is REPL, it will run on available server of REPLs. Okay, that's why you might see multiple addresses. I wanted to show you quickly, but REPL takes a lot of time to load. Okay, so what you can do is create a very simple application on Replit, try to run it and see what are the IP addresses shows on the shell terminal. Okay, apart from 127, it will definitely show you two more different IP addresses because this is where the REPL machine is running. Okay, and also what will happen if you hit the URL in the Chrome on my machine? If it is running on REPL, for this it will show not found. It cannot go to the cannot find the resource. Okay, for this again, this is for the machine, your machine. So if you hit on this, you cannot see available addresses. See, basically what is happening when you go to REPL, when you run an application on REPL, you should run it on REPL only. That is the reason REPL give. Okay, let me show you. I'll not be able to clearly explain it otherwise. Okay, while this is loading, I'll try to explain if there is any other question. Sometimes it takes time.
Sir, question 13. Sir, question 13. Mark.
Okay, so it was 4
Question
serially.
4 is
I go serially. Okay. Question number 4 was there. 4, 11, 12, 13. Okay.
So 12 you can ignore. I found my mistake. But if
Okay.
anyone else wants to know, then they can.
Yeah, there was one question number 7. Okay. Question number 7 I'll take. 11. This is okay, right? I don't think this is an issue. I'll still take it. 11 and 13. Okay, 13 I'll take. Okay, so I'll go with question number 7 first. Okay. Now, I'll not go to question number 7. I'll explain the concept, okay? Because I don't want to write the code too much. What I'll do is, I'll just save this and I'll create a new file, test.py.
Sir, after question 7, could you please explain question 5? I had a little doubt in that.
Okay, fine.
Oops.
Okay, so before you try to answer this question, just check this. Not this. This line, app.route.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you check.
Okay.
From flask import flask app flask rate app.route. Just give me a minute. Okay, fine. So what I'll do is I'll take this question, and if the REPL is open, I'll open there only. I should be able to. Okay, should be able to give you access to multiple things. Okay, I'm having issues with REPL login.
You are running in Replit? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you're running this in Replit? This question?
Yeah, I'm trying to do that. I'm trying to do that. Remember? But I think there is some. Yeah, got it. Okay, so I'm running it in Replit. What I'll do is I'll create a REPL. That's why I'd avoid REPL. See, it takes a lot of time.
It didn't took time in our systems when we tried to use before.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so I just created a REPL. Okay. Let's check how much time it takes. Okay, cool. Yeah, I know. Fine. So what I'll do is I guess I'll get a main.py. So what I'll do is I will paste the file here. Okay. So now what will happen is I will also use host, because now I'm using REPL. For it to run, I will use host. Okay. And since I'm returning a string, I should give string here. Okay, now there are multiple things I'm trying to explain in this question. Okay, so when I run this, so you can see that it is running on all addresses. This is the first thing. Okay, so with this given, it will figure out where exactly this REPL is running on which machine. And then you can see that there, I mean, since you are doing a development server, it will give you this, but it is also giving a one more different address, right? So this address, this IP address is the IP address of machine where this REPL is running. Is this running in my local machine? No. Therefore, I cannot directly use. But then what it does, it typecasts it. This host 0.0.0.0.0 allows the REPL running on this machine to be accessed by this 127.0.0.1 also. Okay, but generally when you see open this, you will see this application getting deployed only. So the link of this application, you will see that it is okay. Let me see if it is working here. Takes too much time. Anyways, so one thing that I wanted to say about 0.0.0.0 is that it searches for all the available IP addresses where this REPL might be running and then gives you the idea. And then it makes an environment where you can use it in, when you can run this using this also. All right. Therefore, it then becomes available in the browser. Okay, but you can see that it has given a HTTP and specialized remotes at full extension. So this is kind of a deployed or domain name of 127.0.0.1. I can use it this way also.
Basically,
all right.
it's
Now
IP
if I
address.
yeah, it is IP address. This one is IP address. Okay, now if this is running, I'm not sure if it is running. Okay, anyways,
So if
this is running, I'll use test.
If you use 127.0, will it run?
Yeah, because it tries to run it on there also, right? See,
okay.
It tries to run on that also.
So
So
you
what
open
is
this
REPL
only.
trying to do? Anyway, whatever you open, take time.
Okay.
See, takes time. Unless it runs here, it will take some time. Anyways, wait.
Okay.
Close the shell, open console. Close this also. Close console also. Let's run it once again. Anyway, so generally it takes time. What I wanted to say about 0.0.0.0, I hope is a bit clear. Now let us not waste time and go into running of this code. Okay.
Yes.
So here I don't need to provide 0.0.0, right? Let me run it. Okay.
Sir, if in VS Code, if we write 0.0.0, it will automatically work on 127.0.0.1.
Yeah.
Correct?
Yeah. So see, in Replit you will require to do that. In VS Code it is optional. You can give or not give. Python test.py. Okay, while it's running, just give me 1 minute.
Yeah, too many content to watch for tomorrow exam.
Just give me 2 minutes, okay? I'm coming back. Hello.
Yes, sir, you are
Yes, sir.
audible.
I'm audible, right? Yeah, yeah. So I'm back. I'm sorry for the delay. I just got an important call. Okay, so where was I? We were running this application, right? So now that this application is running, let me see, is this working? See, REPL is still not working. Anyways, so what I'll do is I'll open it 127 with HTTP also. Okay, so what was the endpoint that we defined? It was test.
Yes.
Okay, so what does it return? I am working fine. Now what did I give? I gave slash test. Okay, I did not give the trailing slash forward slash. Still, it will take the one that is defined. See, I gave a trailing slash here. While creating the endpoint itself, I gave a trailing slash. So if this trailing slash is defined here, then you can work with or without it. I mean, you can, while accessing the endpoint, you can work with the trailing slash or without the trailing slash. See, I've removed the trailing slash. The moment I hit enter, it will still take it and the app will run fine. Okay.
So both will give same output.
Yeah, both will give the same output. But if I have not defined it, then what will happen? Then I can only work with without trailing slash endpoint. See, if I see the trailing slash is given here, it is defined without trailing slash. If I try to hit, it gives not found.
Okay.
Okay.
It
Did you
should be
get this?
defined. Yeah.
Yeah. This is where you define. This is where you use it.
Use it. Yeah. URL.
Right. If it is defined, you can use with or without. If it is not defined, you cannot use with trailing slash. Okay.
Sir,
With
if it
that
is defined
idea.
with two trailing slashes.
Sorry.
Sir, if it is defined with two trailing
If it is
slashes,
defined
then what? With two slashes. Right?
Yeah, if it is defined with two slashes, see, more than one slash do not make any sense. So if I define it with two slashes, these two slashes will get clubbed into one. Okay, let us save and see. It still works. Even if I give a extra slash, that gets converted into one and starts working. Okay, so multiple slashes will get clubbed into one and they work. Is this clear?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Okay, now with that information, let us try to do the question number, that thing 7. Okay, question number 7. Okay, now if you see in the about page, it is not defined. In the project page, it is defined. And again, in the about page slash project page, both the slashes are defined. If they are defined, they will work, right? So for the URL, this about page slash, the browser will render, this is my home page. This is wrong because it is not defined. For the URL, this, it will work. And the answer will be same for both with and without. So this is correct. Okay. For the URL, about page, project page, the page will show page not found error. No, because since it is defined, it will work with or without, right? So it will not show page not found error. It will give you the right answer, right? And with the this thing, last thing, since we have defined and we are using it, this will give the project page, whatever is the output. So this is correct.
Sir, why it is
What
happening?
happens if you use 0.0.0 here in URL?
0, it works on that also, right? What is so 0.0? Okay, fine. Anyway, say it works. Wait. So it looks for the already given, might say take some time, but it works. Okay. Any other doubt? Somebody was speaking.
Yes, sir. Sir, why it is happening is because of Flask or it's a browser thing?
No, it is a Flask thing. It is how you define endpoints.
This double trailing slash behavior and this single trailing slash behavior, it's because of Flask application or the browser.
It is Flask. I mean, see, in general, it should be relevant to every web app. but in Flask it is observed. Okay.
Okay, sir.
See, it is taking too long generally because it is working with multiple, IP address. Okay, but it should work. See, it will keep on reloading unless it finds. So, I mean, even if you give debug equals to
Finally.
true here and provide the host, you can still work on it. Okay.
Yes, sir,
So
sir,
that
I see in the inspect tab, when we give this double trailing slash, it will render three. The request goes to three endpoints. That's that's
yeah,
why.
yeah. That is redirection. That's what is happening. See, double slash getting redirected to single slash, and that is defined. Therefore, it gets 200. So this 308 is actually, very similar to what redirect is. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Yeah. So that 308, I guess, refers to change of URL. I mean, see, what it does is
Permanent
you
redirect.
go to an endpoint, but then that endpoint is shifted to some other endpoint. So it tries to help you with that. Okay,
Okay.
so you give this endpoint, it is shifted to multiple forward slashes endpoint, and it will, it gives that the resource is shifted, and therefore we are trying with other endpoint. Then it tries with other endpoint and gives you the answer finally.
Sir, if I give 3 here, then it will work or not?
Let us try. Where to give 3?
Um, in
Yes.
place of 2 trailing slash, if
No,
I
no,
give
no. Whether in the definition or in the usage.
in the app dot route in the this.
Router.
Let us try. I mean, generally what happens doesn't matter. After 1, it all clubs.
Sir, 308 says permanent redirect.
Yeah, some sort of redirect. You don't need to remember all this because it still works, right? So if you give, if it is defined, whether you give or not, it doesn't matter. See, it redirects to the
Single
slashes.
only slash.
Okay, so it works. So with
So
that
this
information,
HTTP slash the protocol, that's the version number slash 1.1.
yes, that is web version of web.
Okay.
Okay, now next is, I hope this is understood, right? This question is understood.
Yes, sir.
We'll quickly go to question number 5 and
Yes.
see what is the issue. Okay, what was the issue here in this question?
Sir, the issue was it was showing a through method not allowed error. And in the form tag, we have mentioned the method. But in the router, we haven't,
Yeah.
in the app.pf.
Yeah, so what does this mean? Basically, what will happen when you click on submit?
It will submit the form, I think, with as it is a post method.
Yeah, submit meaning it will hit action, I mean this URL
This
with
URL.
post method.
With post. Okay.
For that, the URL, the method has to be defined in the route. Right? So we gave methods equals to get and post. That default is only possible with get, not with post. So if you define methods equal to get and post, then you'll get the answer. Otherwise, you are trying to go to an endpoint where with a method that is not acceptable for that endpoint. Therefore, it says method not allowed. 405, I guess.
And by default, it is taking get method if we are not specifying the method.
Yeah, right. So if I give method equals to get here in form, it will take.
Oh.
Okay, so there will be two things to observe. You change this post to get and see that it will take, and
Take the
the
form.
first name and the last name values that you are giving will be appearing on the URL itself.
Oh, okay, in the URL.
Sir, if form method is get, then the data will go on to our URL or not, or only get method will evoke without data.
Hello, sorry, I could not completely get you. Ritik, you were speaking something. I could not completely get you. What the question is?
Sorry
In the
for
form, if
saying that
method
in
is
the
yes.
form.
Mm-hmm.
Will the data will go or it will not go?
Yeah, it will go. It will go. See, but the get method, the data will go with the URL, right? We have studied this. That's why I said when you in this question, when you change this method from post to get, there are two things to observe. One is the form will be submitted with get method, and since there is no need to explicitly define get method, this will work, right? But the URL, if you observe the URL, you will see all the attributes given here. First name, last name, and their values will appear as parameters. The way they are appearing here, right? Question mark, ANN, and everything. So the URL will become this, something like this. So it is base URL. So after this, you will get a question mark. Then you will have first name equals to whatever you give in the form.
Become like a query string.
Yeah.
Query string, yeah.
So whenever you transfer information to the server using get method, the information goes with URL because get method does not have a request body.
So I think Ritik's question was, can you be able to retrieve the data if there's a get method
Definitely.
from the server?
Yeah,
from
definitely.
the server.
Yeah. If request.method equals to get.
So request.arg will work for get, and for post the request.form.
Request.form.
What
Because
was the
the
URL,
post
sir?
request.form, and the URL will have nothing because the data in the post method goes with request body. In get method, it will go with URL. Okay. So how do you deal with the data in URL? Request.get args. Huh?
Request.form is also dictionary, no?
Summary.
He's saying that what
Sorry, I didn't get.
I was saying the arg was dictionary, request.arg was dictionary. What will be request.form? It will also be dictionary.
Yeah, both. Yes, request.form will also be a dictionary. Okay, because let's say you have a first name, first underscore name as one of the values that you took from form. Okay, so this is the value that you took from form. Okay, if the request method is arg, so what you will get, what you will take, request dot args dot get first name. This is one way of retrieving it. Okay, the other way of retrieving it is this, because it is a dictionary. Okay, no dot. Okay, if the request method is post, what you will do, everything remains same, the args will change to form. Okay, this is for get method, this is for post method. Getting?
Yes, sir.
Okay, let us move to the next question. That is question number 11, I guess. Question number 11 is a doubt. Oh, this is 10. Okay.
11 is okay.
Is this a doubt?
No.
See, whatever what is path, whatever is after my path route in the answer, that will be the answer.
That will be answer. Yeah.
Right?
The whole
I guess
URL
D.
path.
Yeah, I guess D, is it?
D, yeah.
Okay. Question number
12.
13. 12.
12, right.
What is the issue with 12?
In this 12, sir, option B is also correct.
Yeah.
That is for the post method. And okay.
Okay, forget about this statement, read this statement. The user wants to retrieve a list which consists only the names of listed product. The correct function that does that is.
Yeah.
Okay, are we talking about browser?
No.
Okay, does that mean I can use Thunder client?
Yeah.
If I can use Thunder client, I can give post method also.
So that's why it's okay.
Yeah, that's why it's correct. Because we are not, if I have given using browser, then only get method would have been possible and that would have been correct.
So that is a certain distinction between when we use browser.
Delete, put other method will also work.
Yeah. Other methods will also work. Delete, put, they will work. You define it and then you trigger it using Thunder client. That is the advantage of using these these things, Thunder client or Postman. What they do is they help you to hit a URL with a specified method. Okay.
And so to access a column of a table, we use this generally product name means to define.
No, this is product name
Product name
just to
for
get a particular
particular
value in that object.
value. Okay.
Right. So you see, every product in product.query.all will be an object, the record, complete record. What are you accessing? Product name. So product.product name. So this is called as list comprehension. If you
Yes.
have heard.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is list comprehension.
So the small product is the table name.
Small product is the object name, a record in object. See, product.query.all, what will it give you? List of objects.
List of all objects here.
Right. Therefore, for product in product.query.all, what that will be? Object.
Okay.
Right. That is the reason you can access its attribute using dot.
Okay.
Right. No.
Yes.
The functionality wise, 1 and 2 are exactly correct. Exactly same. The method wise, they are get and post. Here we have not specified how we are accessing. Therefore, we can assume we can access it with any possible method. And I am assuming a Thunder client.
Okay. Sir.
Okay, that is about question number 12. 13. 13 is okay, no? 13 is easy.
13 was. Yeah.
Okay.
We had to enter the data here.
Yeah, 13. And I guess these are all fine. I don't think this is an
14,
issue.
sir, can you touch upon?
14 is very easy. This you're taking dictionary, okay, and then you're printing it. That's all. Just read through it. Maybe what you can do is create a app.py, copy the app, create a html.py, index.html, and you can see that out.html, create that file, copy this, and see what it has come.
Okay. The brand is also specified, right?
Just a moment. Brand is specified. Yes, it is there. It is there in the dictionary. This brand's dictionary. Sorry, list of dictionaries. Okay.
Okay.
Any other query? Am I missing any question? I said I will solve and then I'm missing. Is there anything like that?
No, sir.
So in that graded week 8 question, I'm not able to get the answer. I'm getting answer as 1,250 and the answer is 500 actually.
500, 1500.
No, the question.
Which question?
It is capacity. Minimum you have to take.
Yeah, I think I'm making a mistake somewhere in the end.
Yeah, let me show you. See, so what I said in this question, you got this right, 1250.
Yes, I got that.
Yeah, but that is not the complete answer. See, with what you are getting as answer?
I got this 1,250.
Yeah, so that is with 1 Gbps, right?
Yes.
So you got this. But the thing is, what does this mean? If the Flask application was capable enough to have 1 Gbps network, capability of 1 Gbps data transfer, then it would have created 1250 such requests because my network bandwidth is also 1 Gbps. Okay. But my network bandwidth is 1 Gbps, but my Flask application could only generate 500 pages because its bandwidth is less.
Yes.
So I'll have to select the one that has less bandwidth. Out of 1 and 0.4, which one is less? 0.4. And out of 1250 and 500, which one is less? 500. So answer is 500.
Okay. Okay, that is how it's selected. Okay, sir. I can get that idea. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, so when I was explaining this question, you go to the YouTube part of that once again and it will be clear.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Is that all right? So I'll stop sharing.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, so I've tried to cover all the important points of quiz 2. This will help you in the quiz and the question solving. Okay, if there is anything else, we'll try to solve it through discourse. Okay, but with the resources that I've given in today's session, I think you should be able to solve most of the questions in tomorrow's exam. Okay. Okay, so with that, if there are no more doubts, shall we close? Kaushik, you were speaking something?
Sir, I had a doubt in the project, so I wanted you to take a look at the code if you have time, and like, connect
Okay.
later if you want. Maybe.
Okay, you mail me your code, Kaushik. I'll have a look at it.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you.
Okay, fine. So with that, we'll close this session and we'll give you some time to prepare with whatever you may have got some things that are new to you, so you can go through it, and maybe we'll try to solve if there are any other queries. We'll try to solve through this course. Okay. So I think with that we can close this session. Will that be okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, fine. Thanks everyone. Thanks for joining, and very best of luck for your exam.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right. All right. Let's close this session. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for joining.
Thank you.